Let's try and fit all these notes on the page.
Stream links? The game? Oh, we got told it was you who was dealing with the streams.
Hello.
Okay, so we're just going to have to look in, right? Yeah, we're logged in. We've got.
Do you just want me to skip past Jake unless you say otherwise? Yeah, that's fine, man. 30 seconds, boys. Could you just auto cue? Could you just like skip past Jake then? I know you will anyway, but just to remind me.
This one seems like a good one.
Just Jake, yeah. Thank you, mate. Right, boys. Let's do this. Live now. Good afternoon and welcome to Solent University's Soccer Saturday. My name is Reece Barrett and I'll be guiding you through the show today as we bring you live updates on the finest football fixtures of the afternoon. We've got reporters all across the continent bringing you the latest, stretching from the Den to Denmark. We'll have live updates for you from England, Wales, Austria and more. And we've also got four faces on our panel covering the top flight football. Some say he's Solent University's safest pair of hands. He's not between the sticks today, but he's on the panel. Daniel Baverstock will be watching title-hopeful Arsenals as they host Gary O'Neill's Hungry Wolves. Former lifeguard Ethan Moss-Wills will be taking his attention away from the Solent today as he covers Brentford, who tried to return to winning ways against Luton. Southampton Goals Monday League 2 striker from Wales is Baxter Wilson as he covers an early relegation six-pointer as Sheffield United face Burnley. And down in the Championship, Liverpool and Manchester's greatest export since the Beatles and Oasis, Michael Ryder watches two giants fighting for promotion as Leeds host Middlesbrough. How are we doing today, guys?
Yeah, really good. Happy to be here.
Yeah, looking forward to the games.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Reece.
And I cannot wait.
Well, we're not just here in the studio, of course, but we're up and down all the football pyramid. We're starting off with... over to the capital of England, we've got Alex Isaacs, who's actually at the Den for Millwall, alongside Jamie Hale. They host Sunderland. The Trains may have attempted to spoil their trip, but are you settled in and ready for this championship clash, guys? Apologies for the technical difficulties, guys, but we do have Alex Isaacs and Jamie Hale at Millwall as they host Sunderland. One of the biggest championship games of the afternoon, perhaps. Two teams who are looking to sort of establish themselves in the league. Sunderland promoted a season ago. And I think we will actually go to Alex Isaacs now, who's live from the Den.
Hello, yeah, hi guys. I'm at the Den and it isn't a cosy feeling in South Bermondsey as the temperature is at a very low 1 degree with highs of 2 degrees at kickoff. Enough of the weather now though, as the attention turns to Millwall, who host Sunderland here. The north side visit them 8 places above them. Millwall sitting in 19th place, while Sunderland sit in 11th. And yeah, I'm very excited for this one. It's one that's going to be a very tight contest. One player that we need to look out for today is Jack Clark of Sunderland, who is in very hot form and is on double figures in goals and assists so far this season. But yeah, it's one that both teams were wanting to look, to bounce back really. Both sides lost in midweek. Millwall going away to Ipswich, losing 3-1. Suffering a heavy first half outbreak, really. Ipswich scoring 3 goals in the first 40 minutes, while Sunderland lost at home to Huddersfield, losing 2-1 there. So, yeah, both teams will be wanting to get back on track here and hopefully get something out of the game. But, yeah, I'll have team news to come in in the next 20 minutes. So yeah, I'll see you then.
Yeah, apologies for the technical issues there, but as Alex was saying, both teams have lost their last championship games. 8 places separating them in the table, but only 3 points in it, so not too much of a gap there for them. But now we go from one capital city to another. We go from London to Copenhagen. We've got Joshua Stewart now live in Denmark. How are you doing, Josh?
Hi, Reece. Yeah, I've just heard Alex complain about it being 2 degrees. I wish it was positive degrees in the weather here. It's -3, and it's currently in the middle of the afternoon. So by tonight, who knows what it's going to be. But yes, I'm here in town for Copenhagen versus Aarhus in the final league matchday fixture of the annual year. So fingers crossed, it'll be a good one.
And now we travel across the border to Swansea. We have Callum Kemp as the Swans host Huddersfield. The forecast has predicted some rain. Are we expecting a shower of goals with you today, Callum? Oh, apologies, I don't think we have Callum ready. But finally in the Championship, we do have Barney Page in his own little studio down the corridor, covering Saints versus Cardiff. How was your long, tedious commute today?
Yeah, it was not too bad today. Saints facing Cardiff today, looking to get a first win against Cardiff at St Mary's for the first time since 2009, so a long stretch of not being able to beat Cardiff at home. And they're also looking to make it 11 games unbeaten in the league, on 10 so far, one of their best runs in recent years, and certainly a big change in form from last season where the Premier League didn't go too well for them.
Yeah, these two teams, Southampton and Cardiff, haven't played since 2019 when Cardiff scored a last-minute winner to win 2-1. And Southampton are suffering some injuries at the moment. Ross Stewart and Kamaldeen Suleiman are both out until the new year. But we do have these 4 lovely faces in the panel that we'll use now. How are we doing, boys? Dan, you've got Arsenal coming up. What's your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, thank you, Reece. Well, Arsenal are looking to extend their lead at the top of the Premier League. Obviously, a very comfortable and big win against Lens in midweek in the Champions League secured their spot in the knockout round. An emphatic 6-0 defeat. They've only lost one of their last 15 Premier League home fixtures, and yeah, expecting a lot of goals from Arsenal's point of view. For Wolves, they haven't kept a clean sheet in 18 previous away games, and between Arsenal only 1 win in the last 10. Last season saw the Gunners win 5-0 on the last day of the season, so Wolves up against it, but yeah, really looking forward to this one.
Fantastic, and there is actually an early kickoff at the moment. Leicester are winning, and we do have our resident Leicester fan in the studio with us. Baxter, number 1, who are they taking on? Number 2, who scored? And number 3, how's it going?
Well, I'm covering Burnley, Sheffield today. Unfortunately, Leicester, West Brom was a bit earlier. Leicester are winning 1-0 at the moment. Beautiful cross in by Loney Fatiu into the head of Shrewsbury Hall, and he knocks it in for 1-0. It's 77 minutes on the board at the moment. But about Burnley and Sheffield United, like you said at the start, it is a relegation 6-pointer, which is something you don't hear a lot so early on in the season. 13 games have only been played, so less than half the season has been played, and these two teams look the favourites to go down. Burnley currently sat in 20th, and Sheffield United currently sat in 18th. Sheffield United on 5 points, and Burnley on 4 points. So there's a lot to play for in this game. Again, there's not a lot for both teams. It's only really, what I've been able to find out, it's only really negative stats. But if Burnley lose this game, it will be their worst, it will be the only time in Premier League history that a team have lost 8 on the bounce at home. So that'll be a new record. And Burnley, this is Burnley's worst ever start since 1895. So this really puts it into perspective how bad these two teams are playing. So it's going to be a scrappy one, it's going to be an eventful one, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, 2 teams that need something, definitely, and another team that's playing for their survival in the Premier League today is Luton. Ethan, you're watching as they travel to Brentford. How are you feeling about that one?
Well, I've got to say, I wouldn't expect any early goals today. Luton have scored 8 of their 12 goals in the league this season after the 80th minute, which is only a stat battered by Liverpool and Arsenal. But Luton recently, last month was a very impressive month for them. Obviously, they picked up a draw against Liverpool at the Kenilworth Stadium, which is a very impressive result. Not so great for Liverpool fans, but they They lost 1-0 to Man United as well, which wasn't so great. Although they did pick up a fantastic win against Crystal Palace last week, scoring 2 goals, making it 2-1, which was an amazing result for them and resulted in Rob Edwards being nominated for Manager of the Month and Kaminsky, the goalkeeper, being nominated for Player of the Month, which is an impressive feat for a team like Luton, who've recently risen up through the divisions.
And we'll definitely look at those players and managers nominated for Manager of the Month. We'll talk about that later on. But looking at a team in contrasting form, we've got Leeds who could extend their unbeaten streak to 6 matches today. 7 points in their last 3, Michael. How do you think they'll do today?
I think they've got good chances today, Reece. It's going to be a very good game because Middlesbrough are a team that are of rocky form throughout the season. So they started off horrifically, but in the last 11 games, they've got all of their wins this season with 8. So that's a massive improvement in form. But then, shows how rocky they are. The last 2 away games, they've lost. So it's unpredictable, is how to describe this one. Middlesbrough as well with an injury crisis at the moment. 5 main starters out, and their best player, Sam Greenwood, cannot play today, as he is from the parent club, Leeds. He's currently on loan at Middlesbrough, and he scored 2 in their last win, 4-0 over Preston as well. Very impressive result, a team that's flying high this season. So, in my opinion, I think Leeds will take it, but this could go either way, and I can't wait.
Fantastic. Well, we've heard about the games that are in the studio. Let's go back out around the grounds then. We've got Callum and Basingstoke. It looks quite cold up there, Callum. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. We are here at Basingstoke, and the normal day here at Basingstoke would be football based, and it is today with Sholing versus Basingstoke, a massive rivalry in the South Coast, but we're here for something bigger, and when I say bigger I mean massive. The Stoke Stack Burger is what Basingstoke's most famous for in and around the grounds, with Footy Scrans having over millions of likes and views on the last visit here. It is a burger, it's where it goes bun, cheese, quarter pounder, battered chicken breast, pulled pork and bun on top, and we will be tasting that later today on our trip here. We've also got a massive game, obviously, 12th versus 13th, a very mid-table clash here, as Sholing will take on Basingstoke in a big game. And the last time out, Basingstoke won 4-0 against Sholing, but with a lot of injuries, it should be a much more competitive game this time. We will keep you updated with team news and everything else, and especially the Stoke Stack Burger later on today.
I am actually salivating. That burger looks amazing. I mean, we had some pizza before we came on, but I'm still starving looking at that. I mean, we've seen a few non-league games today, of course, across the country. We'll be covering a few of them as well. We've got people at Tottenham, we've got people at Poole. That will be coming later on. But guys, looking back at the Premier League, I mean, Arsenal, they had some decent form this season, probably looking to win the title this season as well. Do you think they'll be able to do it now?
I think they're up there. Obviously, Man City are probably the favourites and still are the favourites till the end of the season. But looking at their run, I mean, last season it was only that brief gap and period where they had like 3 or 4 games that they had a little buffer in. But if they can keep this momentum up, they're certainly going to challenge and they're certainly going to be up there. But it won't be as easy as it sounds. Obviously, Man City, Liverpool in the hunt this year, and possibly even Tottenham. I know they've just lost 3 games, but they'll definitely be in the hunt as well.
Well, they come in after running riot against Lens 6-0 in the Champions League win, which secured their qualification to the knockout round. What about the rest of you guys? Do you think Arsenal can challenge City this year, or is it still a little bit too little too late already?
I'm not sure anyone can challenge City this year. I mean, they're off the back of a treble. It always gets to about the December point of the season and you go, oh, maybe someone can challenge them, take them all the way, but they turn it on past Christmas and you just can't catch them. They've got the depth that other teams don't, and I think it's just inevitable that Pep's side make it 5 in a row this year.
Baxter, how do you feel?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Ethan on that. If Arsenal can continue their form up until the new year, then I think they're within a shout. But they were top of the league last year at Christmas, and they ended up coming second to City. So they really just need to keep this run of form going, keep on playing, and just if they want to win the league, they need to focus on that and maybe forget about the Champions League almost. Not forget, but prioritise the Premier League if they want to win that so badly. Then sort of put the Champions League on the back foot and focus on the Prem and beating Pep.
Well, Michael, I mean, Wolves 10 points above the relegation zone. If we look at just the game today, do you think they can beat Arsenal today?
It's a game of football, Reece. Anyone can beat anyone on the day. And I've been watching a lot of Wolves recently, and they play some lovely football, but they're just lacking that clinical edge. You know, Mateus Cunha, he's a fantastic player, picking it up in the middle of the park, but he couldn't finish off his dinner if he tried, that lad. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like Wolves will be good to watch today, but I think Arsenal's clinicalness will just finish it off for them and they'll get the 3 points at the end of the day.
Well, Ethan, we'll come back to you. I mean, Brentford could go into the top 10 with a win here. Is it a disappointing start to the season based on how they did last year?
I think maybe, but I think you have to look at it with context. Obviously, Ivan Toney suspended down to his gambling issues, which seems to be resolved now. He's not back until the 17th of January. And they lost Rico Henry pretty early on to the season, who was a big player for them last year. So considering they're adapting to that, they've had some tough games. They'll definitely want to win this one today. Like we said about their home form, last season they were incredible. I think they were the only side Man City didn't beat last year. So maybe a slightly disappointing, but there's a long way still to go. And yeah, I think you back Thomas Frank to turn it around and keep them around that mid-table spot.
And Ivan Toney, whatever happened with his circumstances, his football ability, if we just look at that, is he a player that, upon his return, could really motivate and inspire this Brentford side?
Hopefully. Well, that's if he stays. There's been a lot of talk recently about teams like Arsenal and Chelsea looking into him. But of course, if he stays, then that's huge for them. I mean, you look at the difference between Neil Mopai and Ivan Toney, and like it's worlds apart. Neil Mopai on loan from Everton, whereas Ivan Toney, they were talking about him going for 60, 70 million. So yeah, Ivan Toney, it's not just what he offers in terms of goal scoring. He drops deep and plays the ball out, almost Harry Kane kind of style. So I think he's a big miss for this Brentford team.
Well, Baxter, I'll come to you because it's your game, but the conversation can be opened up to everyone. Vincent Kompany, the bookie's second favourite to be sacked next. The first favourite, though, is Paul Heckingbottom. Two managers, maybe an El Sakiko today, you could say. Do you think either of them have a long-term future in the Premier League?
Well, that's a great question, Reece. I mean, obviously last year Burnley came up in first, and Vincent Kompany, his first year as manager in the English leagues, obviously a Pep understudy. I don't know what's really happened, because that Burnley side that came up looked like they were going to finish in a comfortable 12th, 13th, and they've not won a game at home this season. Same with Sheffield United. They came up second, I believe, and they looked really good in the Championship, and they're doing better than Burnley this year. But for example, Sheffield United have only got 1 point away from home, and Burnley haven't got a point at all at home this season. So it would not surprise me if whoever won this, the other manager got sacked.
Michael, honestly, I mean, Sheffield United have conceded 34 goals this season, by far the worst. Do you think there's a gulf in quality between teams that come up and teams that are established?
I was about to say that then. I think the gulf in quality between the Championship and the Premier League at the minute is unbelievable. You can either look at how poorly the promoted teams are doing in the Premier League, which is an appalling record, but then in comparison, if you go drop down into the Championship and you look at your Leicesters, you look at your Southamptons, you look at your Leeds, they're the most dangerous teams in the league. Leicester's squad should not be in the Championship. You know, it's an easy mid-table, possibly pushing Conference League football club. Do you know what I mean? So I think that the quality in the divisions, the gap's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger, and I'm not sure how we sort it out.
Well, Dan, I mean, sorry to reveal it to everyone because it is a sorry fact, but you are a Bournemouth fan. They were promoted a couple of seasons back and you managed to survive. What did Bournemouth do differently that maybe Burnley and Sheffield aren't?
It's a good question. I think it's just about character, and obviously with a new manager coming in, a new philosophy, I think it's always difficult, but we've sort of gone on a run of a few bad results, but it's just about the character and belief in the squad and sort of stringing a few good performances and then ultimately results together, and then that can boost you on. We've seen it with Luton this season, drawing at home to Liverpool, you know, getting those results in and sort of building on that momentum. I think that's what's going to be important for whoever wins this game today.
And I will ask you, as a Bournemouth fan, do you think you're dragged into it this season?
Many people will say yes, but I think we've picked up a few good, obviously 3 wins from 4 games. I'm going to be a little bit biased. I mean, I don't think you'd hate me for that, but yeah, I don't think we'll be dragged into it. Everton have got a more chance of being dragged into it. Sorry, Everton fans, if you're out there, but yeah, I think we'll be okay.
Especially with the points deduction at Everton, as controversial as it was. We talk about that golf in quality. If we look at a team like Luton who have come up, you know, it was their first Premier League win at Kenilworth Road of all time when they won there this season. They've never been in the Premier League as it's called now. No clean sheet so far for them. Are they just too adrift now? Are they not good enough?
I think with Luton, they actually, for me personally, they stand a better chance than both the other two sides. I think the difference is when you come up to the Premier League, sometimes it can hurt you as a side coming in, playing confident, playing good football, because you think you can do that in the Premier League. You just can't. You've got to be pragmatic, you've got to keep it tight, and I think the way Luton were playing in the Championship, that almost helped them come into the Premier League, not playing this attractive style of football at all, just kind of hitting it long. But that's what these big teams sometimes struggle with. I mean, you did see it against Liverpool, these counter-attacks. I mean, like Burnley, I think Vincent Kompany, first game of the season against Man City, it was ridiculous. He tried to come out and play his own brand of football, which, against the champions, the treble winners, I don't know, it's just never going to work. I think you've got to be pragmatic, keep it tight, just play simple football.
Well, I do have to bring bad news. West Brom have equalised in the 89th minute. Josh Madger, who was subject of a Sunderland Till I Die documentary a few years ago. How's that feel, Baxter?
Well,
Not to be the bearer of bad news.
It doesn't feel great, Reece, I'll tell you that for free. I'm watching the game before the Sheffield United Burnley game, and it's a scrappy goal. It's come into the box and it's sort of ping-ponged around. I think indeed he's got his foot onto it and it's just fallen right into the path of Josh Madger and he slotted it back. His first goal of the season, and in the 87th minute, after a loss midweek to Sheffield Wednesday, this is not what Leicester fans would have wanted from today.
Definitely not. We're deep into the 92nd minute now, and we will bring you some updates around the ground soon. We're looking at some footy scran, as you heard from Callum and Basingstoke. He's looking to get one of those Stoke stacks. We'll come to him shortly. And we have people all across Europe. We've got a couple of reporters in Austria reporting on a postponed game. So we'll get to them. But before we do, bringing it back into the panel, I'm just going to ask a simple question. Who do you think wins the league this season?
It's got to be Man City, hasn't it?
If you look at the Premier League,
Yeah, it's got to be Man City. Off the back of a treble, I think not many teams are going to be powerful enough to stop them. Although having said that, obviously they've lost against Arsenal already this season, and that 4-4 draw against Chelsea, I mean, some I wouldn't say nervous or shaky times for Pep, but still you can still see teams that can bring the challenge to them maybe on the off day. So maybe that is going to be the reason why Man City don't win this title. But off the back of me saying that, I do think they'll win the league.
Ethan, do you think teams like Spurs, who after a good start to the season, people thought they could challenge them, they've not got the quality?
I think you're having a laugh if you ever think Spurs are going to compete for a Premier League title. I mean, let's be honest, you look at their team, they've got some good players in there, but like right now they're playing Ben Davies and Emerson Royale at centre-back. I'm sorry, you're not going to win a title with that, let alone them as your backups. It's just the depth, and you're going to hate me, Spurs fans. It's all around Spursiness. It happens every season, and it's going to happen again. You're not getting top four.
Do you think depth is probably the biggest decider then? Is it who's on the bench more than who's on the pitch?
I think we've seen it more this season than any season. Just the amount of injuries that teams are picking up. I think I saw a stat which is like in the Premier League, there's over 100 injuries right now, which is a crazy number. The amount of games players are asked to play now is ridiculous. But yeah, I think it's a bigger factor more than ever. I mean, you look at Man City, they've got a world-class, probably two world-class players in each position. So yeah, definitely a deciding factor for the title.
Baxter, you thinking the same? Is it City's wrapped up? Is it theirs to lose?
Yeah, it's City's. If City don't win it this year, then it would be a massive. What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, there you go. There's two. It would be a massive disappointment to the City fans. But speaking of that, the top four is within 2-3 points of between first Arsenal and fourth Tottenham, and for the last couple of seasons it's always been either Man City or Liverpool. Last year Man City and Arsenal, the other teams below them, didn't really look like they were going to win it. They might have come second or third, but this is the first time in a couple of seasons where the title race has been so close, 3 points between first and fourth. I do think it is Man City's to win, but it also wouldn't surprise me if Arsenal managed to pick it up.
Michael, then, the last say. We've had 3 cities now.
Completely disagree. I don't think City will win the league this season. I think last season they hit a high, but they tired themselves out. It was like to win a treble, everyone's playing a ridiculous amount of minutes. Whereas I feel like, I'm going to contradict Ethan now, I feel like Spurs have more of a chance than Arsenal to win the league this season, or might finish higher once they get their injuries back in. And a bit of bias, I'm a big Liverpool fan. I can't believe we're not in the discussion this year. Van Dijk hasn't been dribbled past yes this season. He's got the best aerial duel rate in the league. Alisson is probably the best goalkeeper in the world. And we've got the Egyptian king Mohamed Salah on the right wing.
Well, let's single in on Van Dijk, because when you won the league, he probably had the best season the centre-backs had in years. Do you think he's instrumental to your success?
I think he is now. I think in the last few years, he's came off a bit after that injury, the ACL he picked up against Everton, which didn't get punished, by the way. But anyway, so I do think he is instrumental to us winning the league this season if we do want to challenge. But then, once again, depth is huge. And when it comes to Liverpool's attacking depth this season, the bench could be as good as the front three that start for us. So, like, let's say if we played Salah, Jota, Nunez, that means on the bench we've got Luis Diaz, Gakpo, and even Ben Doak, who's a very good youngster coming through. So I think Liverpool and Tottenham have a chance, but I don't think City will win it this year.
So do you actually think Liverpool and Tottenham will finish above Manchester City?
I don't think Tottenham will finish, but I feel like they've got more of a chance than people are giving them. But Liverpool, definitely, yeah.
And the rest of you, what about Liverpool? Do you think they'll be up there?
Bit of bias creeping. Liverpool fan over there.
Nah, yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think they've got enough. I think Man City have. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're going to challenge, but Man City,
Ethan, what do you think?
Well, also speaking as a Liverpool fan, I think the defensive midfield position is just where we're going to drop a bit of quality. I mean, it's Endo, he's a good rotation player. He's not a starter though, and McAllister, who doesn't really look like he's cut out for that position. And when you look at the teams that have won the league in the past, you've got like Rodri at the centre of the midfield. You've got Fernandinho, Fabinho, and I don't think McAllister and Endo are up to that level. I think it's such a crucial part of the team.
Dominic Szoboszlai is possibly one of the signings of the season.
No, I agree. I think he's been fantastic. I love him. But
are we talking more of a defensive-minded midfielder?
Yeah.
Nah, I'll give you that one.
I think it's the anchor of the team.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. Great conversation there, and I do think Liverpool will be up there, but it is time for the moment that we've been waiting for. We now go back to Callum Pearman, who is sampling the £7 mega burger in Basingstoke. Callum, it's steaming. It looks amazing.
Hello, yeah, we are here. We have got our Stoke Stack burger. It may be freezing cold, but we are kept nice and warm by this behemoth of a burger. As I said, it is bun, patty, pulled pork, cheese and chicken breast with another bun on top. We've also got a nice hot chocolate, a non-league classic to come with us, and we've just got to get started. If you get a nice little close-up of that right there, it is absolutely massive. We're going to have to just dig straight in with this one. And that is as good as Footy Scrans said it was. It's probably all over my mouth and all everywhere. I'll need to have to get a napkin or something after this one. And I never thought I'd be doing this on a Saturday afternoon, reporting on a game. But it is beautiful. The pork is lovely, barbecue tasting, absolutely perfect, with a nice little crunch of the chicken breast. And we're going to go in a little bit more, just see what we can get. It's a hard to get a hold of. And the one thing I can say is it may be a freezing cold day here, but that is a very, very hot, freshly cooked burger, and it is very warm and lovely. I think it's going to take more than a few minutes for us to get through this burger. So you're going to have to come back to me later on, and then we'll let you know of our progress.
That looked fantastic, Callum. I will say maybe parental guidance is advised now because of that shot with all the pork hanging out, but oh my God, it looked amazing. £7 for that as well. There's a hole in my stomach. I need one. Basingstoke next weekend, I think it is. I think it's going to be. I will bring you a quick update. It's full time in the Leicester City game. Baxter, you're going to be absolutely happy, going to be burst into the ceiling with excitement.
I'm trying to contain my excitement, but I don't know what West Brom have done here. It's 93rd minute, they get a corner and they've sent everyone up. Normally when you play first of the league and you're drawing 1-1, you sort of want to keep maybe one or two men back just in case. But they've sent everyone forward apart from the goalkeeper, and Leicester have picked the ball up straight on the counter-attack. I think it's Drewsbury Hall and Harry Winks on the left and on the right, and Drewsbury Hall slots it across after he goes around the keeper. Harry Winks, simple tap in, and they've won it. 93rd minute it was. Harry Winks with his second goal of the season, looking like a very positive signing for Leicester for only 10 million. Leicester retain the top of the league status by 4 points now, so if Ipswich do go on to beat Coventry today, they'll still be the point behind. So Enzo will be looking at that and thinking, we could have done better, but we're glad to get the win.
Fantastic. And just to confirm, that is 2-1, a Leicester win against West Brom full time. And speaking of games that are on national TV, Eastleigh will feature on our TV screens tomorrow as they host League One side Reading live on ITV1 in a blockbuster FA Cup tie at the Silver Lake Stadium. The second round tie kicks off at 1:30 tomorrow in front of a sold-out crowd following the addition of a temporary stand due to a huge ticket demand. Former Southampton FC boss Ruben Sellers returns to Hampshire to lead his Reading, who sit in the relegation zone of the third tier but will go into the game as heavy favourites. We now hear from the Spitfires manager Richard Hill, who is hopeful for a positive result in the tie that will shine a spotlight on the National League side.
A lot of noise around the place with you guys, with ITV, and we want to make sure that carries on. Otherwise, at 4 o'clock on Sunday, everybody's gone and it's just me speaking to you next week again. We want this attention to continue. I'm not particularly good personally with attention, but as from the football club point of view, we wanted the attention to continue. And if we're not in a position where we don't win, this attention goes away. And we want to continue this, because this is all part of the growth. I've got a couple of thoughts, a couple of ideas of how we might be able to gain a bit of an advantage. But it sounds a little bit rude to Ruben Sellers, who's managed in the Premier League, that Richard Hill thinks he's found the flaw in Ruben Sellers' tactics. So I think if done correctly, we might just pick up 1 or 2 opportunities. My mindset is, even though it's not just another game, it's just another game. And that's not being rude or being arrogant. That's just the way I have to be. Because if we've got everybody else with their head in the clouds running round, then I've got to be the one that brings them back down to earth. We've got 8, 9 of our players playing well, we've got a chance. If we've only got 5 players playing well Sunday, we've got no chance. No chance at all. You make that statement of they're the 12th man. They're probably the 12th, 13th and 14th. You know, they're going to be as important as our subs.
Let's move out and have a look around the grounds live then. We've got the passionate Liam Harding, who will bring his charisma and energy as he updates us on the latest from 5 miles away, as AFC Tottenham play host to Cheshire United.
I'm here live at the Snow Stadium, and today in the Southern Premier, AFC Tottenham are taking on Cheshire United, who you can see are training right behind me, and the Stags. Today they will face United with top goal scorer in the league with 18 goals, German Ricardo. The Stags have won 7 of their last 8 games, so they've got a real task on their hands today, but they could go up to 4th today if all results go their way. Thank you, Liam Harding.
Well, Tottenham have won 8 of their last 9 games, but they haven't beat Cheshire in their last 4 meetings. So, Liam, keep us updated. Thank you once again for an update, as we'll see if Tottenham can keep their strong form nice and tip-top in the Southern League Premier South. So, guys, signing of the season, we're about halfway through now, almost near January, where the transfer window will open up. But over the summer, who do we think's been maybe the standout signing in the Premier League? Dan?
I'd have to go, I know he's injured at the moment, but I'd have to go James Maddison for Tottenham. I think he's really transformed this Tottenham side. Obviously losing Harry Kane in the summer was a big blow, and obviously the new manager coming in, everyone had them tipped for not even top 8, maybe mid-table. But I mean, Maddison, yeah, he's completely transformed the team in that midfield pivot. He loves to drop deep, pick up the ball, drive inside, and spray the ball over to whoever's up front, Son or Richarlison. Or Kulusevski. So yeah, I think he's a really, really vital part of that Tottenham team. And I mean, he's injured now, and Tottenham have lost their last 3 games. So that sort of highlights my statement right there.
Absolutely. I mean, personally, I think Maddison's been almost a coup. Obviously, Leicester going down and him coming to Spurs. They got him quite cheap for how good he's been. Do you agree, Ethan?
I think he's definitely been up there. But for me, I don't know, how do you improve on perfection? Jeremy Doku. I mean, he looks electric. The amount of dribbles he's making in games, that game against Bournemouth, sorry about that, Dan.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
He was superb, and I don't know, he was man of the match against Liverpool. He didn't get a goal or assist. He was giving Trent a very tough time. Jack Grealish can't get a look in, and he looks like one of the best wingers in the league, if not the world right now. And for how young he is, it's absolutely insane. And yeah, I think come the end of the season, it might stay that way. Jeremy Doku.
Well, we'll come back to you, Baxter and Michael, and we'll see who you think signing of the season. I saw you shake your heads at the Doku call, but we can go back to the Den as the team news is in now. Alex Isaacs brings us more.
Hello, Reece. Yeah, I'm here again. I'm sorry if my lens is a bit frosty. It's just because it is so cold here. If you could not tell by the colour of my nose, I look like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. However, I do now have team news for you. For Millwall, Joe Edwards has made 5 changes to his lineup that lost 3-1 at High Flyers with Ipswich on Wednesday. Bielkowski keeps his place in goal, with Murray Wallace playing left back. Brooke Norton-Cuffy comes in at right back, with Jake Cooper coming in for Captain Hutchinson to take over the captaincy as he is vice-captain, and he will be linking up with Wes Harding, the Jamaican international. And at CDM, they're playing 2 in the CDM role, 4-2-3-1, would be Billy Mitchell, alongside George Saville, who keeps his place in the lineup. And then 3 in the attacking midfield, with Zian Fleming, their top scorer, on the left-hand side. George Honeyman, the former Sunderland captain, in at the central role. And then Ryan Leonard coming in at right, attacking mid. And then up top, Amarku is replaced by Kevin Nisbet, who's signed from Hibernian in the summer and scored on Wednesday, so he takes the role up top. And now over to Tony Mowbray's side, who has made 4 changes from their loss at home to Huddersfield. Anthony Patterson keeps his place in the net, whilst Niall Huggins, the Welshman, comes in for Seal at left back. Trey Hume keeps his place at right back, and then there's a centre-back pairing of Luke O'Neill, the captain, and Daniel Ballard. Luke O'Neill scoring on Wednesday night. And then there's 3 in midfield. It's a 4-3-3 formation at the moment. Dan Neal in at CDM with Adil Uchiche linking up with him in the CDM role. Uchiche scored twice at home in Southampton. Well, no, in Southampton when they played. When they played Southampton, they won 5-0, scoring twice in that game. Both goals coming from outside of the box. And then there's 3 up top for Sunderland. High flyer Jack Clark starting at left wing, their top scorer, with Mason Burser, the Chelsea loanee, up top. And then to finish off the lineup, Abdullah Bar starts at right wing. So yeah, teams are out and we're getting ready to start the game now. Yeah, back to you in the studio.
Well, Millwall have lost 4 of their last 5 games, so for your sake, Alex, I hope that they do a little bit better today. Thank you very much. We will continue to go across the grounds now, and we'll look at the ever-growing popular YouTube side, #United, as they come up against Canvey Islands. Charlie Clayton's there to bring us it all.
Yes, that is right. I'm here today at the Lentham Stadium here in Pitsea, Essex. Now today it is #United versus Canvey Island, an Essex derby. This promises to be an absolute thriller. 8th versus 7th in the table, 2 points separating the 2 teams. Also an 18-minute drive between the 2 stadiums. Still waiting for confirmation on the team news at the minute. It's a very cold and windy afternoon here, pretty much sub-0 degrees. It's going to be a cold one, but a fun one nevertheless. It is Derby Day here in Essex and I cannot wait.
Thank you very much, Charlie. And we are going to go down to our newsroom now to look at the Southampton team news. A couple big injuries for the Saints, losing out on Ross Stewart and Kamaldeen Sulemana in the last couple of games. Callum Kemp, how are they looking? How have they lined up today?
Yeah, so Saints have gone for quite a strong lineup. They've got Gavin Bazunu in goal, Kyle Walker-Peters, Harwood Bellis, Bednarak and Manning make up the defence. We've got Charles Downs and Armstrong in midfield with Alcaraz, Armstrong, the other Armstrong, and Jay Adams making up the attack. For Cardiff, they've got fairly strong side as well. Callum Robinson making up that number 10 in what's looking currently like a 4-2-3-1, but we'll see how that plays out. And both teams with very strong benches. Southampton with Everton loanee Mason Holgate, as well as Joe Rebo, Samuel Dozie, who's struggled a little bit this season with injury, and Ryan Fraser. Whereas Cardiff have young up-and-coming talent Ruben Colwill on the bench, and other players who've been doing quite well this season, like Ollie Tanner and Bua Adams. So yeah, lots of options off the bench if things don't immediately go to plan for either side. But yeah, looking like they're both going strong. Southampton obviously will have to have a better performance soon as West Brom have pulled back that equaliser and are slowly starting to catch up with them.
Well, we will go across the border now to Swansea as we have Barnaby Page as the Swans host Huddersfield. The forecast has predicted some rain. Are we expecting a shower of goals with you today, Barnaby?
Hello and welcome to the Swansea.com stadium today for today's feature between Swansea City and Huddersfield Town. An unchanged team for Huddersfield following their midweek win away at Sunderland, whereas Swansea have made one change today from their loss at Leeds United on Wednesday night as well, with Liam Cullen replacing Jerry Yates in table. Amazingly, following QPR's win last night at Preston, there are only 4 points between the two sides in the relegation zone. So today's game is really a big, important game for both teams in today's fixture. Who's going to win it? We'll find out by the end of the game.
Thank you very much, Barnaby. Yes, Swansea looking to end a 4-game run without a victory at the moment. We'll come back to you in the studio while we've got a moment, guys. Baxter, signing of the season, who do you think it is?
I'm going to have to stick with Dan and say James Maddison. No bias involved at all. But yeah, he's transformed that Spurs team. You know, you think that because they lost Harry Kane, they'd plummet. I think they finished in 8th or 9th last season. And the fact that they're in the Champions League points at the moment in the top 4, I really don't think it would have been possible without Maddison. Obviously, they've made a few other great signings, and Mickey van der Ven and getting Ndogi back from loan from Udinese. But I think without James Maddison controlling the park, because last year Harry Kane would have dropped into where Maddison is playing now. So it's almost like they've got an extra player because they can stick someone up top and still have Maddison in that midfield where Harry Kane would be last year doing 2 jobs, rather than now they've got one person doing one job and another person doing another. So I think Maddison definitely.
Yeah, to be fair, we've got 2 against 1 at the moment. Michael, are you going to even it up?
On a personal note, Andre Onana, being a Liverpool fan, I think he's been a fantastic signing for Manchester United, and I love it if he just keeps starting football games. But no, on a much more serious note, for me, people are just overlooking Declan Rice, lads. He's came into that Arsenal midfield, probably the weakest part of their team with Granit Xhaka and Thomas Partey, and he's just upped it a new level. You know, I think his price tag's looking like a bargain for him at the moment, and if he keeps up his form, why can't Arsenal be up there this season?
Yeah, but in all fairness, I mean, Spurs lost probably one of the best strikers in the world and managed to do all right with James Maddison. Do you really think that addition of Rice is as instrumental to their success as it has been at Spurs?
It could be, because Maddison, as good as a player as he is, he's injury prone. You know, he gets injured very consistently. I can't remember the last time Declan Rice was injured off the top of my head. I think he's a very consistent player, and if you want an 8-9 performance most weeks, he's your man.
Fantastic. Well, we can go back to Basingstoke now with Callum, and I believe we're all done with the burger now. How was it?
Not quite done with the burger yet. We'll keep you updated with the progress through there. We've got a few napkins out, a little bit cleaner now, but we do have team news for the big clash this afternoon. 12th versus 13th. Solent come into this game after an 11-0 win against Hedge End earlier in the week, whereas Basingstoke come home to a 2-0 loss in their last fixture against Chesham. We have now got team news. The Basingstoke side that Dan Brownlee is putting out is Paul Strudley and Kai Hobbs, Marcus Johnson-Schuster, Scott Armsworth, Nathan Smart, Alfie Grant, Bradley Wilson, Michael Atkinson, captain, Liam Ferdinand, DeAndre Brown and Paul Hodges, with Billy Upton, who returns to the bench, who looked to come on as a massive return from injury. In the Solent side, you've got Ryan Gosney, Matthias Tepp, Bradley Targett, brother of Matt Targett, both familiarly in the family, playing at left back today. George Milner-Smith, Daniel Miller, Charlie Davis, Keane Anderson, captain Byron Mason, number 9 top goal scorer Daniel Mason, Jake Hesketh, ex-Southampton loanee and academy prospect, and Jake Cope at number 11. Among the substitutes, some massive names as well. Jake Flanagan, who is ex-Southampton, and Marvin McLean, who is a massive player for Solent and has been playing there for years. Basingstoke last year coming off a massive promotion, where in the last game of the season, Walton Hersham in their game conceded late on to give automatic promotion and winning the league from Basingstoke here. They've got a new facility that they've had for only a few years now that they're even creating over there. They've got a new system and a new clubhouse being built. We've obviously got the mascots, and even at half time today there's a cheerleaders program which will give you a show of their half-time show and what's going on there. It should be a massive game in a mid-table 12 to 13, and then we can quickly give you an update on how the burger is, and it is beautiful, I can tell you that. But we have not got far in. It is as big and as hard to eat as we said. It is a lovely looking thing, and it is wonderful, but as you can say, it is the hardest thing to eat in your life. It's so dense but just such a beautiful. It's all freshly cooked by a separate team here in Basingstoke, Bartlett's, who were lovely staff. They also bring we had a hot chocolate with it, with nice marshmallows and cream, and we're going to go in for another little bite just to make sure it's still nice and warm and get it whilst it's lovely. And it's still beautiful as ever, nice and warm, crunchy, a bit of chicken in there, absolutely delectable. This Soccer Saturday's turned into more of a segment on MasterChef, it seems. Less about the football here before and more about the burger and how beautiful it really is, and the Bartlett peoples do it. But yeah, we've got a brilliant game here. Take away from the burger for a quick second, and we have got a massive game here. Solent, who take on Basingstoke, this isn't just a big game in the table concerns, 12 versus 13, but it's massive in terms of this South Coast derby. Two teams that are mere 40 minutes away drive-wise from each other, and it's a huge game. As I said, last time, Basingstoke are full of injuries now, so Solent could make this a much more interesting and much more tight game. Back to you in the studio.
That was fantastic, Callum. Thank you very much. Again, looks amazing, and I'm sure we're going to have a game that's just as good as the burger. Let's have a look then. Let's come into the warmth of the studio. A bit of team news now for the Premier League. It's been here for about 45 minutes or so. We've only got 15 minutes, maybe a little bit less until kickoff. Dan, how's the Arsenal team news looking?
Yeah, so they're looking to extend their lead at the top of the Premier League, and they've made one change from that 6-0 thumping against Lens. That's Trossard in for Havertz, who did score in that game. So they line up. David Raya returns in goal after missing the Brentford game in the Premier League. Tomiyasu retains his spot instead of Ben White, and across the back four, Saliba, Gabriel and Zinchenko as per usual. Odegaard, who has 5 goals and 1 assist so far in the Prem, he starts alongside Rice, and obviously Trossard as well, filling in that midfield instead of Havertz. And it's the front three of Saka, Jesus and Martinelli. Jesus has scored 6 goals in 6 Premier League starts against Wolves, so if you're a better man, looks like Gabriel Jesus is for a favourite to score today. Wolves, they've made 4 changes. Dawson is back from suspension. Buemo, Doyle and Traore all start. They line up as a 3-5-2 formation. Jose Sar's the goalkeeper. Across the back 3, Dawson, Kilman, who captains the side again today, and Totti Gomez in the left centre-back role. Across the 5 midfield, Bueno fills in at right wing-back instead of Matt Doherty. Doyle, Traore and Bellegarde in the midfield. Left wing back is Nelson Semedo, and up front you've got Cunha and Hwang Hee-chan. They've got a great partnership together, 11 goals and 4 assists in 13 Premier League games. Those two are going to be the focal point today to try and grab something from this game. Looking forward to this one, Reece.
Fantastic, thank you. And Ethan, if Brentford lose today, it's 3 consecutive losses for the first time since they were promoted back to the Premier League. How's the teams looking?
Well, I'd say it's a pretty strong lineup from Brentford today. So we start with a 4-3-3 formation. You've got Mark Flecken in between the sticks, who's been shaky at times this year. Vitaly Yenelt's filling in at left back in a makeshift position for the 25-year-old. You've got Ben Mee and Ethan Pinnock, a very strong partnership at centre back, one that was very successful for Brentford last year. Christoph Ayer, 6'5", playing at right back, sort of in the Dan Burn kind of mould. You've got Christian Norgard playing at DM today, club captain. 19-year-old Yehor Yarmouk, bear with me on the pronunciation, he makes his second Premier League start, after the game against Arsenal, filling in for the injured Matthias Jensen. Frank Onyeka makes his 4th start of the season, alongside him in midfield. Joanna Wisser, who has 3 goals and 1 assist this season, plays on the left wing. Brian Mbermo, Brentford's main man this season, with 6 goals and 2 assists, starts on the right wing. And number 7, Neil Maupay, starts up front for Brentford today. Meanwhile, Luton start in their usual 3-4-3 formation. Thomas Kaminski, obviously nominated for Player of the Month and one of the best goalkeepers in the league so far this season, in between the sticks. Gabriel Osho starting at right centre-back. Tom Lockyer, club captain at centre-back, who was actually sent off the last time these two sides played. Mengi starting at left centre-back from the Man United Academy, scoring against Palace last week. Mari Bell playing at left wing-back, who returned to the side against Palace last week and put in a very impressive shift. Isaac Kabor returned to the side after injury kept him out of their last game against Crystal Palace, on loan from Manchester City. And Mr. Luton Town himself, Peli Ruddock-Kampanzu, 30 years old, played in all divisions with Luton, starts at centre-mid alongside the famed Ross Barkley. Chidozie Ogbene starts on the left wing, the fastest man in the Premier League this season against Fulham. Tahith Chong, scorer of the goal winner against Liverpool, starts on the right wing, and Carlton Morris, the side's top scorer this season, starts up front.
Fantastic, thank you. And we will come back around the ground shortly, but Baxter, in the meantime, how's the team news looking over there?
Yeah, so Burnley's starting lineup, sticking with the 4-4-2. In goal, there will be James Trafford, the under-21 national. At left back, we've got Charlie Taylor, the veteran, and the 2 centre-backs, Dara O'Shea and Jordan Bayer, a new signing over the summer. And right back will be Vitinho. Starting on the left-hand side will be Luca Colishoa. Centre mid, Sander Berge, who joined from Sheffield United in the summer for 10 million. He'll play against his former team for the first time today. And the captain, Josh Brownhill, who was Burnley's player of the season last year. On the right mid, they've made a change. It will be Jacob Brun-Larsen, who they also signed from in the summer from Hoffenheim, will start on the right-hand side. And up top will be Zeki Amadui and Jay Rodriguez, Jay Rodriguez scored in their last match against Arsenal. Against West Ham, which they should have won, obviously, 1-0 in the 85th minute. So they'll be looking to bounce back after losing 2-1 in the end. Sheffield United, on the other hand, they've made 2 changes today. Wesley Fotheringham stays in goal. A bit of an interesting stat. He's made the most saves in the Premier League, but has conceded the most goals. A centre-back partnership between Austin Trusty, Jack Robinson and the Greek international George Baldock. Starting on the left-hand side will be Luke Thomas, the Leicester loanee, and right back Jayden Bogle will be replaced by the recently returning Anel Admirovic. Starting in the 2 centre mid roles will be Oliver Norwood, who scored that crucial penalty to get Sheffield United's first win against Wolves, and Vinny Souza, who will possibly be up there for Sheffield United Best Player of the Year so far. He's been unbelievable in that centre mid role. The 2 starting cams will be Oliver McBurney as he comes back from injury, and Gustavo Hamer, signed in the summer, of course. And fun fact, Hamer is the only player this season that for Sheffield United to score away from home. So he'll be looking to grab another today. And up top, the number 10, Cameron Archer.
Fantastic, and Michael, we'll come to you in a second for some championship news, but we are going to go back on the road, 5 miles down it, in fact. We've got Liam Harding at Totton. Liam, team news out there?
lineups for you right now. So starting with Tottenham, in goals, number 1, Lewis Noyes. Number 2, Benny Reid. Number 3, Jordan Raggett. Number 5, Charlie Kennedy. Number 6, Luke Hallett. Number 7, Joe Osler. Number 9, Scott Rendell. Number 14, Alfie Egan. Number 17, Leon Maloney. And number 18, Joe Turner. Now going to the visitors, Cheshire United. In goal for them is Zaki Ular, number 13. Number 2 is Lewis Rolfe. Number 5 is Kieran Murphy. Number 6 is Tashawn Gallimore. Number 7, Zach Joseph. Number 8 is Harry Rushi. Number 9 is Ogo Obi. Number 11 is Bruno Andrade. Number 14 is Juan Cassie. Number 17 is Callum Adaby. Number 20 is Ricardo German, the man that the Stags will fear today, as he has 18 goals and is the top goal scorer in the Southern Premier right now. That's Liam Harding, 2 points down at the Snow Stadium. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Liam. Let's go up the football pyramid now and back into the studio. Michael, you've got team news for us for Leeds.
I have. Not as many fun facts as Mr. Baxter Wilson here, because it's 2 unchanged sides from their wins in the midweek. Leeds beating Swansea at home 3-1 and Middlesbrough beating Preston at home 4-0. So in the Leeds lineup, you've got the former Premier League and French international, Meslier in goal. Archie Gray, the esteemed 17-year-old who can play a multiple number of positions and is linked with clubs like Liverpool, Tottenham, your cities. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on him today, seeing what he's all about. Centre-half, you've got Joe Rodon, Welsh international, and Patrick Struijk, Dutch international. So when you look at this team, you think, they should not be in the Championship. Sam Byron at left-back. 2 DMs for them, Ethan Ampadu and Glenn Kamara, former Rangers player. Sat in front of them is former Swansea player Joe Pirro, who's had a fantastic start to the season, scoring 7 goals already. On the right, you've got former Manchester United player Dan James. On the left, Somerville, and then up top, former Hoffenheim striker Giorgino Ruta. Very difficult name, but he's a very, very good player. Middlesbrough, on the other hand, keep Dieng in goal with Dick Steele, Van der Berg, McNair and Bangora in a back 4. It's Hosen and Barlaza. Barlaza's probably their best player in the centre of the park. He picks it up and he's very good at distribution. In front is Cooks. You've got their attacker, Isaiah Jones, on the left. I don't know a lot about this boy, but did score 2 in his last game against Preston, so I'll be keeping an eye on him. And maybe he can cause Archie Gray a few problems down that right-hand side. Rogers on the left, and then up top is Latte Laugh.
Fantastic, thank you. And while we wait to go back across the grounds, I'm going to ask you maybe an impossible question, guys, so prepare yourselves. We've got Arsenal playing, top of the table. We've got sort of mid-table with Brentford, relegation scrap, and then top of the table in the Championship. Which is going to be the most entertaining game? I mean, if you had to guess.
I'd have to go with the Burnley-Sheffield game. I think it's going to be such a scrappy game with a very open game. As of that fact, I think it's going to be end-to-end, and there's going to be lots of chances that hopefully Baxter is going to keep on top of. But yeah, I'd go for that one.
I think definitely not my game. I'll go for, I think Michael's game. I think Borough and Leeds, there's a lot of goals to be had, maybe a couple of leaky defences. No, I think that could be a good one. I think you've got the pick of the bunch there.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Ethan. I think Michael's game, even though, again, relegation 6-point now, there's going to be a lot of scraps. I think the quality of football is probably better between Middlesbrough and Leeds at the moment, rather than Sheffield United and Burnley. So I'd have to say the Middlesbrough-Leeds game.
Well, lads, I don't want to disappoint you, but in Daniel Farke's last 6 games against Middlesbrough, he's won 5 and drew 1. But every win has been 1-0. So I don't think the goals will be flying in today. I sure hope they will, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well, like we've said before, 4 faces here in the studio covering the games today. We'll also be up and down the country, across the continent, in fact, in Europe, bringing you some news as well. I'll be providing updates on all the games that we don't have reporters at once kickoff is underway. About 2 minutes now until we get to 3 o'clock, the golden time on a Saturday afternoon across the country. Feeling good, feeling excited for it. Dan, Arsenal, are they out yet?
Yeah, both teams are out. The cameras are pointed towards the 2 managers. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. I think Arsenal are going to be free-flowing style of football, scoring a few goals. They haven't scored at all in the opening 15 minutes of the Premier League so far this season, so it might take them maybe 20-25 minutes just to start to get going into this game. But Wolves as well, they under Gary O'Neill, they've surprised me, certainly. I think they'll be struggling this season, considering they've lost players such as like Neves and Nunes to Manchester City. But yeah, Wolves play really nice football. So yeah, really looking forward to this one.
Well, we are actually going to see the lineups here in the studio on our virtual wall. We'll see them very shortly. Dan, you've said they haven't scored too many in the opening 15, but we will see Arsenal play. They've won all 4 of their last meetings against Wolves, 5-0 last season. We can see the lineups now coming behind me on the virtual wall. And I don't think it's too many surprises for Arsenal today, is it?
No, not of course. Obviously, just the one change, Trossard in for Havertz. Jesus, as I said earlier, scored 6 goals in his last 6 Premier League starts against Wolves. And obviously, Saka, he's got 5 assists so far this season. That's the joint 3rd highest in the league. Martinelli as well. I mean, just the names I'm reading out of, you're expecting to be involved in it. And the Wolves defence is certainly going to be up against it today.
Yeah, definitely. And you can see the names here on our virtual wall. Lovely to see the lineups there in text form. I mean, you've heard all about it. Some great analysis there from Dan. On the Wolves side, they don't seem too happy.
Yeah, lost their last 2 away games at the hands of Fulham and Sheffield United. Only kept 1 clean sheet in their past 23 away games. So they're going to be up against it today. But they do score goals, as I've said. Scored in their last 12 Premier League games, which is their 2nd longest streak ever, to be honest with you. On the VAR side, I think they've been really punished. There's been a few times where they've been up against it. Of course, if anyone watched the Fulham game on last Monday, it was 2 penalties that went against them and potentially a red card for Fulham. You saw the Sheffield United game before that, a last-minute penalty sort of hampered their chance to get a draw. Sky Sports released that they've lost 7 points due to VAR complications, and Gary O'Neill, after his press conference on Monday, said he was done with it. I mean, a manager coming out and saying that really just reiterates how poor that's been today. So for his sake, hopefully no VAR controversies for him today, but we do love a VAR controversy in the panel, and I'm sure if there's one, we'd love to talk about it. But yeah, looking forward to this one and hopefully some goals for me.
And Gary O'Neill, we can't be too pleased with VAR then?
No, VAR, very unhappy. I think he would be with VAR at the moment. Lots have gone against his side. Excuse the pun.
I was going to say, no setup at all, no premeditation with that whatsoever. Ethan, looking at your game, any surprises for you in the lineup?
Well, there's been an injury in the warm-up. Christoph Ayer has come out at the side at right-back, and Saman Ghoddos has come into the team, which may not be the best news for Luton fans, because when the sides last faced each other in 2021, he was the man that found the winner, with the score being 1-0. So not great news for Luton fans, but also Brentford probably going to be missing their big 6'5" right back there. So yeah, that's the big news now. The team's just huddling up and we're almost ready for kickoff. I think they've come out a little bit late here, so game should be starting any minute now.
Yeah, and we should see these games beginning to kick off. We're just sort of nearing, well, we are actually at 3 o'clock now, so all games should be underway. Like we said before, we'll go across the grounds and I will bring you some updates on the games we are not reporting. Baxter, I looked to you at the lineup, some great analysis earlier on, some great facts. Is there anyone in there that surprised you with it?
Not particularly. Both teams are playing very well, but I do have some news. Burnley are 1-0 up. It's an early goal, just about 30 seconds in. It's Charlie Taylor. He's down the left-hand side. He whips the ball into Jay Rodriguez, who scored last game, and he puts his head on it, and it's 1-0 Burnley.
Fantastic. And Jay Rodriguez, of course, old Saints player. One of those that was robbed from an appearance at the World Cup when he broke his leg. He's been at Burnley since 2019. That's his 23rd league goal for Burnley. Fantastic. Does that bode well for Burnley then?
It certainly gives them a great advantage, and I know Will Cope will be loving this one. Well, he probably won't, but Burnley are 1-0 up, and they'll be looking to hold on to this victory. But as last week proved, they were 1-0 up in the 85th minute, and they didn't hold on to that. So Sheffield United will be. They'll take a hit from that, but they'll be looking to, stand back up, get their head in the game. The great thing about early goals is that you've got a lot of time to come back from them.
And some of the Sheffield United fans, there'll be a few watching, I'm sure, they won't be too happy with that, and you know who we're talking about there. Michael, is your game kicked off yet?
Yes, it has just kicked off. We had a bit of a delay and nothing's really happened in the early stages. Leeds are just holding on to the ball. Seems like Middlesbrough just sitting back, the away side. They're probably going to be soaking up a lot of pressure today. So nothing to update you with yet, but when something happens, there'll be more to know.
Fantastic. Ethan, are we underway? You said they were a little bit late coming out.
We are underway, and Neil Mopai is already up to his usual tricks. Running into Tom Lockyer, trying to cause a bit of bother and stir up opposition, as he always likes to do. But Brentford had an early free kick quite far out, but made nothing of it.
I mean, Brentford, massive favourites to win this game, even though they aren't one of the top-tier sides.
Yeah, you'd think so, and given their home record last year, this year's been less impressive, but you've got to take into account the sides they faced. I'm pretty sure they played Chelsea, which they actually won, and Arsenal at home this year. But yeah, Brentford always impressive at home and always keep it tight, so I think Luton will be struggling here.
You said they're impressive. They only have not scored in one home game in 2023. We're right at the end, obviously. That was last weekend against Arsenal as well. So a bit harsh, you were saying, with the results. Were they good against Arsenal?
Possibly.
Oh, Michael, what's happened there?
There's been a goal.
A goal
An
already?
early goal. Middlesbrough have taken the lead away at Ellen Road, and it's the forward number 9, Latte Laugh. We're just getting a replay now, so I can't tell you exactly how the goal went in at the moment, but what I can tell you is that the Middlesbrough end is absolutely rejoiced with that goal. They are absolutely loving it, and no one would have thought this is how it started, but Middlesbrough 1, Leeds 0.
No worries, and we'll come back to you once you've seen a replay and we'll get all the news there. 6 minutes played as they're already in. We can go now to #United. Charlie Clayton, any news now? Are we underway?
It's off here at the Lenshammon Stadium. As I mentioned earlier, I didn't quite get the team news last time I was on, but now I have got some new signing. Jayden Rendell on a short-term deal from Averley makes his debut today for the Tags. As well, Woolridge also comes in for Samo, who's unfortunately injured for #United, but just to shore up the defence, he will bring something to the table. Now, as for Canvey Island, one complete 1 to 11 here on the pitch to start with. Joe Paxton and Jack Stubbs start up top for the Islanders. Going to be some interesting match here. Game's just kicked off. Around 5 minutes into the game already, and it's been really just in the middle of the park, to be honest. Canvey Island have a corner on the far side, so I'll bring you live updates to you as that comes along.
Fantastic, thank you, Charlie. Yeah, more to come there, some great team news. We've already had some goals in the studio though. Michael, have you had a chance to look at it back?
Yeah, it was a lovely delivery in from the right-hand side, and he just beats his man at the near post, flicks it over, and it's a fantastic header. So, yeah, Middlesbrough, I wouldn't have thought have took the lead, but they have in a very nice manner.
And elsewhere across the grounds, we do have some news to come, I'm sure, from Swansea, as there's been a goal there, but we'll hear about that when we cut to the grounds. Great to hear. I mean, I know that Middlesbrough, like you were saying, Isaiah Jones, he was a player that was playing non-league just a few years ago. Do they look good in attack early on?
Yeah, they're looking sharp, but like Leeds are the ones who have the possession of the ball, but when they're on it, it just doesn't look like they're creating much. They're a very stale, bit static, but yeah, whenever Middlesbrough get it, they're looking fast on the counter. Yeah, I think I might be in for a very good game here.
Fantastic, and yeah, Isaiah Jones, a player at Tooting and Mitcham in 2017, so not that long ago he was playing in sort of the same levels as Tottenham and the likes that we're going to be seeing around the grounds, just a few miles away from us. Crazy that he's in the Championship now, and speaking of some of the top flight of football, we're on the way in the Premier League games as well. We haven't had goals elsewhere with Dan and Ethan. Dan, how's it going on Arsenal? You're shaking your head.
Yeah, Arsenal have just scored, and I've just looked away and missed it, but it looks like Bukayo Saka has just scored. I'm just watching a replay now. It's good play from Saka on this right-hand side. Nice little interlink with Martin Odegaard. He sort of shifts it left and right, plays a nice 1-2 to Gabriel Jesus, who backs off. A nice little ball from Tomiyasu, and Bukayo Saka just weaves in and out of Craig Dawson, and he slots it with his right foot into the bottom left-hand corner, and it's 1-0 Arsenal, and it looks like one-way traffic already. Gets lucky with the deflection, and just about manages to slot it under Jose Sarr, the Wolverhampton Wanderers goalkeeper. So yeah, 1-0.
Got to keep an eye on the goals this afternoon, because it feels like as soon as I'm cutting to people, they're being scored. I mean, ridiculous. In games that we aren't covering with reporters, Ipswich have scored against Coventry. Michael, what are we seeing there?
It's a goal for Leeds. It's an equaliser. 5 minutes in, it's worked lovely down the right-hand side, and it's played to Dan James in the box, the former Manchester United man, and he just guides it into the far corner. I think you were right about my game, lads. I might have the game of the day. 1-1, 5 minutes in.
Fantastic. 2 goals in 5 minutes. Dan James, of course, former Manchester United winger as well. He's taken some time to find his feet, even though he's got very fast feet. He hasn't really landed at Leeds, but looks like maybe he can make a name for himself in the Championship. Ethan, how are we looking in that mid-table scrap?
Well, I told you I wasn't going to have the most entertaining game of the day. Right now, it looks like Luton sitting back, kind of looking to hit on the break. Ogbene, the fastest man in the league right now, is trying to do what he can on the counter, but I mean, both sides just sitting very deep. It's looking like a game a bit of cat and mouse at the moment, very cagey. Brentford having most of the possession, but these are two sides that neither of them like to have a lot of possession. So I think we're just going to have a lot of tepid kind of play. Going to need a goal to spice this one up, but nothing looking likely so far.
Well, that's Dan James's 10th goal in 53 league games for Leeds since he joined a few years ago. Spent some time at Fulham as well. Sheffield Wednesday have gone 1-0 up as well in games that we haven't got reporters at. Any other news, Baxter? How are we looking in your game?
Yeah, it's all sort of calmed down a bit now. Burnley do have a corner. They do look the strongest side. But I think it will be Jacob Bron-Larsen who will be taking the corner. But it's all sort of calmed down. Burnley is sort of mainly keeping the possession, sort of dominating the game in a way. Sheffield United don't look totally out of this, though. They have had the sort of attacks, but they've not got any sort of end product at the moment so far. It's only early, though. It's only 8 minutes in. So still 1-0, 8 minutes in.
You won't believe it, there's been another goal at Ellen Road, and Leeds have turned it around already. Somerville now on the score sheet. Once again, I was just looking over at Baxter Wilson and I've missed it. But as soon as I see the replay, I'll get back to you. All I know is Somerville who finished it off.
And Somerville, one of those players who we expected to leave.
If you stay
Leeds,
with me now, I can tell you what happens. It's played out to the right-hand side. It's a first-time delivery. It's headed away, and he just beats his man at the far post. Keeper almost gets a hand to it, but just pushes it into the bottom right-hand corner. And I'm a bit blown away here, Reece. I didn't expect this at all. Leeds 2, Middlesbrough 1.
Well, Somerville, one of those players, a 22-year-old Dutch forward, like I was saying before, we expected him to leave Leeds over the summer. They've held on to him and reaping the rewards. A quick fleeting look, excuse the pun, down to the FA Cup as Fleetwood have conceded to Cambridge. 10 minutes played there and Cambridge United are 1-0 up. Bolton also leading against Harrogate Town and Peterborough leading against Doncaster. Some early goals in the FA Cup, some early goals in the studio and some across the grounds, which I'm sure we'll bring to you very shortly. Dan, let's go back to Arsenal. How's it going there? An early goal from Saka?
Yeah, Saka netting his 5th goal of the season. Yeah, completely dominating. He's just ticking over to the 10th minute now. Some nice play on this. It's mainly coming down Arsenal's right-hand side. Tomiyasu obviously deputising for Ben White, linking up nicely with Saka and Jesus in the middle, who did well for the goal after he just backed into the defender and laid it off to Saka. And Arsenal have it in the penalty area now, and Saka's just trying to sort of twiddle his way around and tries to play it 1-2, but with Odegaard, but it was offside. But yeah, no, really strong start for Arsenal. Only upwards from this, to be honest with you. Wolves really up against it early on, and Gary O'Neill probably not the best of starts that he wanted from this Wolves side. Maybe trying to keep it to 0-0, maybe to half time to see that they can eke out. But yeah, 1-0 Arsenal still.
Fantastic, yeah. Gary O'Neill's mid-table side doing well this season. People thought they'd be a bit lower down, but we can jump back to the Championship. We can jump to the Den. We've got Alex Isaacs there for a live update. About 10 minutes played, Alex. Which way is it going so far?
Yeah, hello, Reece. It's about 11 minutes gone so far in this tie between Sunderland and Millwall. There's not really much to shout about, really. Sunderland recently had a free kick that they took short, and Dan Neil whacked it right over the bar from outside of the box. But it's been cat and mouse football, really. Both sides trying to get a hold of the ball. Neither side having a shot on target so far. So yeah, both sides still trying to get a hold of the ball, hold of possession, and seeing if they can do anything with it. Sunderland come here with their last away win in 1995. Millwall last winning here in 2004 against Sunderland. So yeah, it might be a really tight contest, and there have been some really tight contests in their history. 3 of those ending in a 1-1 scoreline. That is the most common scoreline that this game has had. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting one to see what happened from this game. But yeah, back to you in the studio. I'll have more to come.
Fantastic start from Millwall by the sounds of it, and another fantastic start for a side here on the South Coast, our local side. How's it gone for Southampton? Callum Kemp, he's in the newsroom. Give us an update.
Yeah, it's 1-0 to Southampton here. Southampton have been dominating possession the same way they have all throughout this season, currently on 76%. And they've just been bouncing it around the outside of Cardiff's box. Carlos Alcaraz picks up the ball, passes it to Stuart Armstrong just outside the penalty box, who smashes it into the top corner. nothing the goalkeeper could do about it really. 1-0 Southampton, and they're still putting on the pressure.
Fantastic. Another goal outside of the box for Southampton, just like how they beat Bristol City in midweek. A team that sort of prides itself under Russell Martin at creating big chances, but seemingly scoring some wonder goals at the moment. Let's have a look back in the studio then. Been goals flying in across the Football League at the moment. Dan, can you give us any updates at Arsenal?
Yes, Arsenal have just gone 2-0 up. It's a brilliant finish from Martin Odegaard. It's fantastically well worked down this right-hand side again from Saka. He crosses the ball in. It reaches Zinchenko on this left-hand side. Jesus again is involved in the build-up. Plays a nice 1-2 with the Ukrainian, and Martin Odegaard finds himself just on the penalty spot, and it's an easiest finish, as you can see, just guides it into the bottom right corner. We said Arsenal didn't score at all in the opening 15 minutes at all in this Premier League season. Well, they've just scored 2 now, and it looks like it could be another 6-0. Obviously, beat Lens 6-0 at home at the Emirates on Wednesday night. It's looking like it could be 6 here again today, Reece.
And we've sort of got the Midas touch when it comes to goals at the moment. Odegaard had a bit of heartbreak recently when he failed to qualify for the Euros with Norway. He's not letting it affect his game at all. Elsewhere on the scores, we've got Hull and Watford 1-0 at the moment. Seems to be like we're getting a hatful of goals within the first 15 minutes in the Championship. Ethan, how are we looking back in the Premier League?
Well, I think a goal might be coming for Brentford. They've been swinging a lot of balls in the box, and this is really a game where you want Ivan Toney, because you've just got Mbuemo, Wissa and Neil Maupay all vying for it, but they're all little men, and against the big men of Luton, they're not going to get there. Yeah, they're slowly building it up, whipping it into the box. No final touches yet, but Luton are making this as scrappy as possible. Fouls left, right and centre. But I think we may be seeing a goal soon.
Well, let's look back towards the FA Cup, and I can tell you that Cambridge have gone 3-0 up already against Fleetwood. Ridiculous to score 3 inside 15 minutes, but they're looking like they're cruising into the next rounds. Baxter, let's come to you. Any updates since the goal?
It's just more Burnley. It's sort of died out now, I will admit. Both teams are just keeping the ball when they have it. And then as soon as it comes to the final third, they're losing possession. Sheffield United are currently on the ball at the moment. Like I said a couple of minutes ago, they certainly don't seem like they're dejected at all from that early goal. They do look up for it, but yeah, it's sort of calmed down now. Give it 5-10 minutes, I reckon it will pick up again.
Well, in the sole game in League One today, Portsmouth have gone 1-0 up, so another result for us to report back on there. We're going to come back to you, Michael. Back in the Championship, a few goals in the first 15 minutes, but what's happened since?
Oh, it's started to settle down just a little bit now. Leeds are getting the foot on the ball, like controlling the pace of the game, and whenever Middlesbrough get it, they're just recycling and just trying to hit on the counter. They did have a good chance around the 10-minute mark. It dropped to the first goal scorer, Latte Laff again, in the box on the half turn, and he's just skimmed across the top of the crossbar. But apart from that, Reece, nothing to report.
Well, we can report with the results that are happening in the studio with us. There's changes at the top and the bottom of the Premier League table. The Championship winners last year, Burnley, were rock bottom before kick-off. They've moved up to 18th. Sheffield have fallen below them, and Everton in last place following their points deduction. And with Arsenal 2-0 up, they go top of the league as well, leapfrogging Manchester City in the process. We'll come back and have a look. Guys, I mean, we've had some really early goals. I'm sorry for you, Ethan, that hasn't seen one, but what's been the best game so far, do you think? What's been the most exciting?
I'm probably looking over my shoulder at the Leeds Middlesbrough game. Yeah. Top of the table clash. Obviously, Arsenal expecting to win this one, and Burnley Sheffield obviously a scrappy game apart from that first goal. But yeah, I'm looking over my shoulder and seeing how well the Leeds Middlesbrough game is doing, to be honest with you.
Is it living up to the hype then, Michael?
I feel like the first 10 minutes is the most chaotic 10 minutes of football I've ever seen in my life. Both teams going for it. As we speak, Middlesbrough have just won a corner kick, so that'll be a good oh no, referee's giving a goal kick there. Shows how much I'm actually watching the game, doesn't it? No, but yeah, no, it's been a very good start to the game, but it's kind of settling down a bit now. The teams have just kind of sat back a bit. Middlesbrough understand they can't press Leeds all games. They're just going to sit it up, soak it up, and then just try hit them on the counter.
Well, let's move from the south coast here in Southampton in our studio. Let's cross the border back to Wales. We've got Barnaby Page with an update at Swansea.
Okay.
Yes, it's currently 1-0 to the Terriers, to Huddersfield Town. 3 minutes into the game, an own goal from Benka Bango. A misplaced pass in the midfield from Matt Grimes led to a quick counter-attack from Huddersfield, and it led to eventually a cross coming in across the penalty box, and Benka Bango kicked the ball into his own net. 1-0 to Huddersfield.
Very much, and if Wales wasn't international enough for you, we're going to go to Austria now. Lily Arthur reports live from the European country. Oh my God, it looks freezing. I mean, I'm cold enough in the studio. What's it like out there?
Yep, so the good news is we've made it here to Austria. It's very snowy, but the bad news is the game has been postponed. So you can see if we pan over the snow right here. So no game to report live from today, but we will be trying to make it around to some sites in Austria to show you at least something today.
Well, we've been robbed of a top-of-the-table clash there in the Austrian Bundesliga. It would have been Salzburg versus Wolfsberger, called off due to excessive snow. Temperatures of -2 there. And, I mean, you could see in the background, it looks a bit chilly. I'm glad we're in the studio, as much as it would have been nice for them to fly out to Austria. It's a shame that we won't be seeing that game. Speaking of games in the studio, Dan, any news at Arsenal?
No, Arsenal just keeping the ball well, just trying to maintain possession, sort of how Arsenal do it, sort of sit back, draw the opposition in, for them to force mistakes. But it's been fairly straightforward afternoon so far for the Gunners. Looking like they might go on to score a few more. Obviously, I said they beat Lens 6-0 in midweek, so it's looking like it's going to be another thrashing, which only helps their cause as they extend their lead at the top of the Premier League.
Absolutely, and Ethan, looking at the mid-table of the Premier League, have Brentford created much yet? Can they break into that top 10?
Do you know what? I was saying it was all Brentford, but since I last spoke to you, Luton have been causing them a couple of problems. One, a corner. Not much came of it in the end, but Brentford also playing very scrappy. I think, 17 minutes gone? We're nearly into double digits for fouls, just niggly little ones everywhere. Bringing players down. It's kind of unnecessary, but it's just breaking the game up, slowing it down. I think we need to get into a bit more of a flow here for anything to materialise in the next few minutes.
Lovely stuff. And moving away from the Premier League, there's been a goal in the FA Cup as Barrow have taken the lead against Maidstone. And now down to non-league then. Charlie Clayton at #United can update us with some goal news. How are we looking, Charlie?
Yes, that is correct. #United have broken the deadlock here in the Essex derby, and no other than number 9, Toby Aromalaran, fits for tags 1-0 up here. A very, very good little passing play on the edge of the Canby Island box, when Toby Aromalaran slots the ball home with his right foot past Sam Jackson in the Canby Island goal. Only a few moments after Canby Island had a penalty waved away by the referee. Bradley Stack thought that the #defender handballed it in the box, but it was waved away. So very interesting start to the game. #United 1, Canby Island 0.
Thank you very much, Charlie, over there at #United game. Arsenal 2 goals to the good already, Dan, but you just said there's a big chance there. What's happened?
Big chance to go 3-0 up. It was Odegaard on this right-hand side. He clipped a lovely ball with his left foot into the path of Trossard, who tries to touch it down, but it just got away from him just for 1 second, and Saad did enough. That touch did enough for Saad to come out off his line really, really quickly to smother. But in all honesty, if the touch was better from Trossard, it could have been 3-0. And as we speak, the goalkeeper has gone down with an injury. He looks to be in some discomfort. This came after the goal. He rolled over. It looks to be on his arm, I think, as the pitch has just cut away from it momentarily. But yeah, it looks like the substitute goalkeeper is warming up. So I'll keep you updated on that. But yeah, still 2-0. Could have been 3, but Arsenal on top here.
Thank you very much, Dan. And we've got news at St Mary's. There's been another goal. Who's it for? We go down to the newsroom. Callum Kemp, give us an update.
And the goal is for Adam Armstrong again. His second goal within 4 minutes. Southampton were putting on the pressure immediately as soon as they scored their first one, not giving Cardiff any room to come back. Carlos Alcaraz went down and referee allowed play to go on. He was claiming that he was caught in the face. Obviously, there's no VAR at this game, so it wasn't looked at. He's up and going again now. But Stuart Armstrong picked it up on the outside of the box, chipped it across. Not sure if it took a touch off anyone else or a Cardiff defender before Adam Armstrong converted it with his head, so it's a second goal for him today. And yeah, 2-0, and Saints are still putting on the pressure.
Thank you very much, Callum. We were talking about it in here in the studio, the fact that maybe Southampton can't score too many goals this season. They've scored 2 within 15 minutes. Adam Armstrong with a brace, 1 behind the Championship top scorer now, and the most goals and assists in the Championship overall combined. Looking back in the studio, Ethan, no goals over there. We're talking about goals, goals, goals here. any action at least?
Well, just as I say to you, I think Norgard's about to take a long throw into the box. It's flicked on by Buemo, and no, that's caught by Thomas Kaminski, who's of course been brilliant this season. No, just a lot of sloppy play, to be honest. They get both sides kind of get into the midfield, and it's so congested in there. The play seems to break up so quickly. So no, nothing really of note to talk about yet. That was probably the biggest chance I've had, and I'm 21 minutes in.
Well, yeah, about 20 minutes into the Burnley game as well. Jay Rodriguez scoring in the first minute. What's happened since, Baxter?
Yeah, they've just shown a replay of that Jay Rodriguez goal. I missed it at first, but it's a beautiful sort of like, he's got just in front of the defender, ducked down and sort of nodded it past Wes Fotheringham. It's a beautiful header, sort of old Jay Rodriguez-esque. Still got it, apparently, kicking about 33 years old now. Playing for Burnley, but yeah, it's getting scrappy now. It's getting very scrappy. Sheffield United have given away, I think, about 5 fouls in the last 3 minutes. So give it a couple of minutes, and we could see some cards flying out of the referee's pockets.
Well, you said that Wes Fotheringham has conceded the most goals in the Premier League, made the most saves as well. Did he do good enough there to stop the goal? I mean, I haven't seen it, but could he have got to it?
He possibly. It was a very good header, but there wasn't much pace on the ball. Especially from the cross either. It was quite like a floated cross. So if maybe better positioning, but I don't think many goalkeepers would blame him for that one. I certainly wouldn't either.
No, fair enough. And Michael, you had some crazy action within the first 15 minutes. How's it looking since?
There was just a penalty shout in the last few minutes for Leeds from a corner, but in my opinion, it would have been quite soft. And apart from that, after the first 3 goals, it's been a steady game, a few chances on each end, a few counter-attacks, but nothing else to report.
Well, a quick look down towards the FA Cup. Oxford United have taken the lead against Grimsby there, looking to get themselves into the 3rd round, as we'll bring you updates on the rest of the FA Cup games as they come through. And of course, we'll be travelling around the grounds. We saw a nice update from Austria there. We've got reporters all over the continent to bring us the latest football news this afternoon. Dan, we'll come back to you. Arsenal getting, established in this game, 2 up now. Have they sat back a little bit? Are they going forward?
No, they're still going for it. All guns blazing. Martinelli just jinking inside and outside of the defence, winning a free kick there. Yeah, it's one-way traffic, as I said at the moment. Nothing else much to report. It's just been all Arsenal, if I'm completely honest with you. Wolves did make that substitution. Daniel Bentley, the substitute goalkeeper, coming on for only his 5th appearance. Played twice in the EFL Cup this season. And he's on for only his 3rd Premier League start. So let's see how many goals he can prevent today. But yeah, all Arsenal at the moment, as they just have a free kick. So you might have to come back to me in a few moments' time.
Well, we were talking in the introduction. You actually are a goalkeeper. I mean, he's coming on to the pitch now, a substitute goalkeeper. He's not really warmed up. He's not really settled into it. How much pressure is he feeling right now, do you think? Put yourself in his shoes.
Yeah, it's a little bit tough. I mean, if anything, it helps that they're 2-0 down already, because it's almost a nothing to lose situation. If you concede another, perhaps it doesn't matter as much as if it's maybe a 0-0 or maybe going to 1-1. But yeah, maybe a chance to prove himself. I'm not sure the extent of the Sarr injury, as a rifled shot comes in from Declan Rice from just outside the area. But yeah, something to prove himself on. Obviously, doesn't really get a look in over Jose Sarr, but see what he can do. But at the moment, it looks to be all Arsenal.
Well, we've got sparks flying at the Den with Millwall. Alex Isaacs, what's happened there?
Yeah, hello, Reese. 27 minutes gone here, still 0-0. However, a few minutes ago, James Linnington, the referee, has made a rational decision. Me and Jamie up in the press box think it should have been a red card. Mason Burstow did a nasty challenge in the middle of the park, but yeah, it looked to me that it was studs up really. He's lucky to still be on the pitch, and he is on the ball now as he has passed it out to Abdullah Bar. But yeah, it's still 0-0 here, but Sunderland very lucky to have their strikers still on the field. But yeah, back to you in the studio, still 0-0.
Thank you very much, Alex. Yeah, sparks definitely flying at the Den. Baxter, looking towards your game, we spoke before when the team news came in that there's a player facing his old club, Sanderberg. How's he getting on? How's he settling in against Sheffield United?
Well, he'll be loving the fact that Burnley are 1-0 up and his former club are 1-0 down. But he's playing well. He's not really done much, but he's picking up the passes. He's playing it to the left back, to the right back, to the centre backs, moving it forward. He's not really lost possession yet, but he's not done a lot in this game. There has been a substitution, though, for Sheffield United as George Baldock went down and Jayden Bogle has come onto the pitch to replace him. Nothing serious, majorly serious, I don't believe, but maybe just a hamstring problem. Just needs to come off and take a rest, I believe. But yeah, again, it's mainly both teams when they're on the ball keeping it well, but as soon as it gets to that final third, the final pass isn't correct, or it's a good bit of defending by the other team. It's still 0-0, 27 minutes in. Burnley are on the ball now, and they do look the better side.
Thank you very much, Baxter. Yeah, one for the fans to worry about there with the injury potentially. Portsmouth 2-0 up now against Northampton in the FA Cup. And let's go from Northampton to Southampton. Let's go down to the newsroom. Callum Kemp, how are we looking?
Cardiff just had their best chance of the game. Downs committed a foul just outside his own D, and it was the perfect position for a free kick, really. Sadly, it was a very poor effort. NG took the free kick, it hit the wall, and then there was another effort from someone it went back to, and it hit the wall again. So Cardiff have squandered their best chance of the game here, and Saints are looking like they're going to make them pay for it because they're now parked right outside Cardiff's goal.
Thank you very much. And looking at non-league games again, we've got Ringwood Town taking on Fawley AFC today. Ethan Green's at the ground. How's it going over there, Ethan?
Thanks, Reece. Yeah, I'm here at Ringwood Town where it's a very foggy day. I'm surprised the goalies can actually see each other with how much fog there is here. But yeah, Ringwood Town have taken a 2-0 lead here early on in this match. The first one came from a long throw, which came from the right-hand side, which was poked home by their striker. And a couple minutes later, that exact same striker got another goal. He headed home after a great ball into the box from the fullback, which puts Ringwood up. And Fawley in here, which has been picked up by the goalie. But yeah, that's all here from Reece. 2-0 Ringwood Town against Fawley.
Thank you very much, Ethan. All the latest across the grounds to keep going, of course, throughout this programme. Baxter, we talked about former players settling in. You said Sanderberg would be happy. There's been a goal. Is he still happy?
Well, close your eyes, because Burnley are 2-0 up. It's very, very poor from Sheffield United. The centre-back, Jack Robinson, just picks the ball, Austin Trusty, picks the ball, just a long ball over the top. And Jacob Brun-Larsen, the new signing from Hoffenheim, it's a beautiful touch, gets in behind Luke Thomas, and he picks it up about 35 yards out on the right-hand side, and he just sort of jogs towards the goal. And Luke Thomas, it doesn't really catch up to him at all. He carries on running, and it's a nice, easy finish, slotted down into the left-hand side, past Wes Fotheringham. It's 2-0 Burnley, 30 minutes in.
Thank you very much, Baxter. So I think we're going to be travelling across Europe again very shortly and talking to Joshua Stewart, who's out in Copenhagen. We will talk to him shortly. He's not quite ready for us, but he's bringing us an update from the Copenhagen town centre. There is actually a goal with Liam, though, before we come back to the studio. Liam Harding down in Totten. Who's gone? Who scored?
I'm here jogging up and down to the Snow Stadium. Sheffield United have just got a goal. And it's nearly 1-0. Tottenham just got a goal back. But Ricardo German just got his 19th of the season. And the Tottenham are banging hard on Sheffield United's door. But just have a look. Is that a penalty? Is that a penalty? Is that a penalty? No. Okay, that's all we have right now. That's all we have. Any questions?
Actually, thank you for the update there. Chesham only lost 3 games this season, on course to lose their 4th then if Tottenham stay in the lead. Dan, we're coming to you. What's happening in the Arsenal game?
Yeah, Wolves just seem to pick up the pace a little bit. Some good plays, good play down the left-hand side from Hwang and Hugo Bueno as well, who's come in to the side today. Wolves just starting to get a foothold of the game, trying to eventually get back into it. They're half an hour late, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, Wolves starting to get back into the game. Cunha's done well, linking up with Hwang as well. Yeah, it could be. I said it was one-way traffic for Arsenal, but Wolves just starting to creeping back into this one.
Lovely stuff. And Baxter, just a reminder of your goal a minute ago. It was Jacob Larsson who scored the Danish loanee from Hoffenheim, his second goal of the season in the Premier League. Was it a nice one? Is it one to remember?
It certainly wasn't one to remember. But if you're a Burnley fan, you might remember it as this 2-0 in 30 minutes is a very, very positive start for this relegation 6-pointer. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad finish at all. It's a beautiful touch from him to take it past Luke Thomas. But yeah, it's a simple finish in the end. He should be scoring it. But yeah, he will remember that because it was a very, very nice touch before the goal.
And how does this bode for Sheffield United then?
Well, they did have a big chance just a couple of minutes ago. Again, they just don't look out of it, but they seem to be sleeping at the back. They had a big chance. It comes to the edge of the box where I believe Jayden Bogle is stood, and he just sort of skies it. He's hit it all wrong, and it goes well over the bar. But Sheffield United just continue attacking. They don't look out of it completely, but I do think Burnley have made themselves very comfortable so far.
And you're saying maybe leaky at the back for Sheffield. That's 36 goals conceded now in the Premier League. We're not that far into the season at all, not even halfway. That doesn't bode well either, does it?
It certainly doesn't. And again, I don't think Wes Foderingham is to blame for that. Like I said earlier, most saves in the league. I know that doesn't particularly mean a lot when you've conceded the most goals, but it could say something about the defence in front of him. I mean, they do play a 3-4-2-1 with two wing-backs coming on defend and coming back to help in the attack. So maybe Paul Heckingbottom might want to change things up. I know they've got a lot of defenders and a lot of wing-backs in the squad, but maybe trying something new won't hurt because the 3-4-2-1 is not working at the moment.
Definitely. I mean, the stats show that. And looking towards the Championship then, Michael, I understand you're having some technical issues still, but both Leeds and Middlesbrough coming off of big wins in their last games. Have you managed to see much of the game since Leeds went 2-1 up?
Unfortunately not, due to technical issues. I'm currently working on them, but I do have a live update, and it is all Leeds at the moment. Middlesbrough, where they can. There was just a chance then where a ball went over the top towards Dan James, and he just tried lofting it over the goalkeeper. Couldn't quite get it fully over him as the keeper jumps, pushes it away and then clears it. But yeah, still with my technical issues, but as soon as you can get back to me, I'll let you know.
Absolutely, and a quick goal update from the Championship to bring you as well. Plymouth are 1-0 down as they host Stoke. They've just scored there, so Stoke sort of gunning their way up towards the table now, towards the playoffs where they'd hoped to be. Dan, looking at the Arsenal game, still 2-0 Arsenal, how are we looking there?
Yeah, still 2-0. As I said, Wolves starting to creep back into this. The last 10 minutes, they've kept 80% of the ball. So compared to Arsenal standards, that'll be quite poor. And hopefully Mikel Arteta, well, you'd be telling his side not to sort of relax and keep back from it. But yeah, Wolves starting to get back into this one. They've nice little interplay in the midfield, but honestly, if a chance comes their way, and we know they're very, very lethal with the chances they get this season under Gary O'Neill, and as Semedo tries to drive forward, could be a chance here in a moment for him. The ball's just slightly gone and Martinelli regains possession. But yeah, Wolves certainly in this one.
Fantastic, thank you very much. And Brentford and Luton still 0-0. Brentford actually into the top 10 with the point they'll get if it stays the same. How's it going, Ethan?
Well, the pressure's definitely building for Luton. Brentford mostly having a lot of this possession just in Luton's final third, struggling to break them down. But then they're also trying to play this kind of direct style, which, to be honest, is Luton's bread and butter with these centre-backs, just hoovering everything up, cleaning it up, and balls into the box. It's not really working. As I say that, and Mbeumo drives to the line, and that's out for a Luton goal kick. To be honest, it's all been pretty comfortable for Luton, but Brentford do seem like they're growing in confidence.
Do you think that's maybe what this Brentford side are lacking? Is it confidence? Because 10th, I guess, isn't too bad for a team of Brentford's size, but last season they were a little bit higher.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I was a Brentford fan, I'd probably be quite happy with 10th, considering the players they're missing. Perhaps it is a bit of confidence, or maybe it's just a different way of playing. Like, without Tony, their only real strategy seems to be to hit teams on the counter, whereas under when they had Ivan Toney in the side, they could kind of play it about a bit more, trust him to drop deep and gather the ball for them, but it's not really working for them right now. Just they seem a bit one-dimensional.
Fantastic, thank you very much. Let's go international then, because we do have Joshua Stewart ready here. He's live in Copenhagen. You can see him on our virtual wall here. Josh, how are we doing? What's the weather like out there?
It thankfully has stopped snowing. It is, however, still below freezing. The sun was out for about 20 minutes, about an hour ago, and then disappeared very, very quickly. So it's dark, it's cold, but as you can see behind me, the lights of Denmark are shining brightly.
You, Josh, I mean, we can see it's so dark. Sunset's about 3 o'clock there. I mean, it must be cold as soon as the sun goes down.
Yeah, I can't really add much more to that. However, I must admit the spirits of Denmark are very high. You can't walk the streets without smelling the sense of glog, which is a Scandinavian equivalent of mulled wine. You've got hot dog stands and roasted chestnuts. If you were looking for a Christmas getaway, Denmark is pretty high on that list, I must admit.
So Josh, how are we looking about the game tomorrow then? You'll be watching FC Copenhagen. You excited to see the atmosphere in that stadium? One of the most renowned stadiums in terms of the ultras around the world.
Yes, very much so. Copenhagen have just announced on their social media pages they've sold 30,000 tickets now. Considering it's only a 35,000 capacity stadium, it's not out of a question they could sell out. As I mentioned earlier, it is the last league match day of the calendar year before Denmark goes on its winter break. So expectations are high. It's clubs in both good form, wanting to go to the win into the break. It should be a really, really good atmosphere. And as you mentioned, Copenhagen and the Park and Stadium has a wild reputation for extravagant performances by their fans. So fingers crossed they will be able to match the tempo of the game and warm everyone in that stadium up, because it will be about -4 at 5 o'clock tomorrow at kickoff.
Hopefully the atmosphere is going to warm you up a bit. How are Copenhagen actually looking in the league table? 15-time Danish league champions, so are they up the top at the moment?
Yes, they are. It would not be a bad idea to bet on them to make it 16. It is a very good season for them so far. However, even more importantly, outside of the league, they were the first team in 27 games to stop Bayern Munich scoring. They kept a clean sheet against them in the last round of Champions League games, which is a fantastic accomplishment. And unfortunately for Aarhus, really puts a bit of an ominous tone over the fixture. As I mentioned, they're top by 3 points and will probably, barring a huge goal difference swing, remain top going into Christmas. But I'm sure everyone here in Copenhagen will hope they can win and stretch that gap even more to solidify their grip on that 16th title.
Copenhagen, a very young team as well, very exciting team. Josh, in your research, have you found any sort of specific players to keep an eye on?
There is a name that everyone seems to be talking about. He's been linked with clubs all over. Bruni Bargi, he is 17-year-old, he's a Swede, he scored against Manchester United in the Champions League. He is a winger that everyone is excited about, and I'm hopeful he will be able to get onto the score sheet tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Josh. Much appreciated there, live from Copenhagen. We do have an update from Basingstoke, but there has been a penalty, Michael. What's happened there?
After our technical issues were solved, Leeds have got a penalty and they have converted. I'll tell you about the penalty incident first. It's Giovanni Rutter on the edge of the box. He beats his man, and then it's a cynical foul from the player who just came on to replace McNair. I haven't quite got his name with me at the moment, but he beats him and he just throws his arm out at his legs, taking him down. Silly foul, and it's their top goal scorer of the season, Perot. He steps up, composed, left-footed, just to the left-hand side of the goalkeeper. No chance, and it's now Leeds 3, Middlesbrough 1.
Thank you very much, Michael. Let's go down to Basingstoke then. It was cold in Copenhagen. It looks just as cold there. How are we doing in Basingstoke, Callum?
And we're here back at Basingstoke. The game has been as freezing as the weather down here, as the fog hails on. As you can see behind me, the Basingstoke fans are in massive, massive support despite the freezing cold weather. There's been minimal chances. Dan Millis has a header tipped over the bar from the Basingstoke goalkeeper. Jake Cope had a chance one-on-one with the goalkeeper when Target played a big ball through, but that was put wide. Brad Wilson's had one cleared off the line by a Solent defender from a volley on the edge of the box, and Liam Ferdinand's had a very mazy run, about a yard out, but Ryan Gosling makes a solid save. No deadlock here broken yet. The game is about as frozen as my hands are right now.
Thank you very much, Callum. Certainly looks cold, but here in the warmth of the studio, Dan, there's been another chance for Arsenal.
Yeah, Arsenal probably off the bat against the run of play, especially in this last 10 minutes. Arsenal have hit the post. Martinelli finds himself in good space after, you could say it was a counter-attack. Saka just sprays the ball over to this left-hand side, and Saka cuts inside and curls one, and it just hits the right-hand post. Jesus also had a chance. Saka, a deep ball into the back post, and Jesus misses from about 1 yard out, but I think it was offside anyway. But still 2-0 Arsenal, almost a third, but they're looking good for the win as I speak.
Thank you very much, Dan. And a goal now in the Tottenham game. Tottenham were on course to give Chesham their 4th loss of the season. We've got Liam Harding at the game. Liam, is it still there?
Chesham is 2-0. Zach Joseph has just scored from the right-hand side of the box. He's rounded off Lewis Noyce again in the same place as Ricardo German. He's been done silly here and it's happened again. I missed the goals in the toilet, but my fellow foes have told me all about it. That's it at the minute. Liam Harding from the Easy Snow Stadium with 8 layers on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Liam. Appreciate the update as always. Baxter, big chance in your game.
Yeah, sorry. I love Liam so much. Yeah, big chat. There's been, well, it's starting to turn into the scrappy affair as we predicted. 3 yellow cards so far in the first half. Ollie McBurney, lucky not to have a red as he elbowed Dara O'Shea, who then voiced his displeasement to the referee. Probably not very nice words as he got a yellow card for it. And as I'm speaking now, Luke Thomas has now been given a yellow card for bringing down Brun Larsen, who's probably been the player of the game so far. So that's now 4 yellow cards in the first half, which for Premier League standards is quite high. So it's getting scrappy. Burnley still look like the better team. It's still 2-0, 42 minutes played.
Thank you very much, Baxter. And goals going in across the country. Let's go back on the road now, back to Basingstoke. Callum Pearman.
Typically, as we go off air, 10 seconds back to you in the studio, 10 seconds later, Liam Ferdinand slots away in the bottom right-hand corner after a nice little dribbling run. He slotted away in the bottom right-hand corner to make it 1-0 to now Basingstoke. As you can see, the fans in massive support. It is now 1-0 Basingstoke.
Callum, let's go back straight onto the road then to the Den. Alex Isaacs, there's been a goal.
Yeah, hello Reese. It is just on the cusp of half-time now, and Millwall have taken the lead through Kevin Nisbet. That's 2-2 for him, and the goal came from a scrap in the middle of the park. Ballard got a yellow card for hacking down a Millwall player. I didn't see who it was, but then the Arsenal loanee, who has been sharp all game on the right-hand side, Norton Cuffey, took the ball into a stride and took it into stride up the right-hand side of the pitch and sent a lovely whipped ball over the top of the Millwall box in towards Kevin Nisbet, who slotted it away with his left foot into the bottom corner of Patterson's net. So yeah, 1-0 Millwall here, just about to turn half-time. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you very much, Alex. As he was saying, yeah, 2-2 for Kevin Nisbet, his 4th goal of the season for Millwall now. Eford, a bit of controversy in your game. What's happened?
Yeah, well, Brentford will feel hard done by here. There was a ball whipped in by Vitaly Yenel, flicked on by Mengi at the back post, and it's kind of come off Isaac Kabor's, it's in between his arm and his leg, and it's clearly hit his arm, but I think VAR may not have given it because the contact was off his leg first, but Brentford fans will feel hard done by because the arm was raised, it was out there. It wasn't like the ball was going to anyone, but it definitely wasn't a natural position, but VAR took a look at it, saw no further, and Brentford 0, Luton 0, almost at half-time now.
Shades of Tino Livramento's penalty there by the sounds of it. And Michael, will come straight to you. There's been a goal.
Yeah, there has been another goal, and it's Middlesbrough who make it 3-2, half in the deficit. And we've had a few chances. It's been a bit scrappy this game so far. A few little arguments, a few kicks, a few shoves. But it's a corner whipped in by Barslager, and it's Latte Laugh again with a header into the far corner. And I did not think I'd have this today, but it's Leeds 3, Middlesbrough 2.
Fantastic, thank you very much, Latte Laugh. A bit of a FIFA legend by the sounds of things. I remember seeing him on Foothead and websites like that. So good to see him scoring in the Championship. Coming towards half-time now for most of the games as we reach about 10-4 here in England. There's been a goal at Hashtag that we can go to straight away. Charlie Clayton's on the road.
Yeah, we're just approaching half-time, but that is not the most important thing. Hashtag United have doubled their lead here at the Len Salmon Stadium against Canby Island, and it's PK Humble that has doubled their lead. Very similar goal to the first, slotted home into the bottom right-hand corner past the goalkeeper. Thoroughly deserved. They've been knocking on the door ever since the first goal was scored, and half-time is just about approaching, and it's just been all Hashtag really. Ever since the game started, they've always Journey just lacked a cutting edge a few times when on the break, but they've completely dominated possession of the ball. They've had shot after shot, and the half-time whistle has blown here. And it is #United 2, Canvey Island 0. Fully deserved from the Tags. Second half, there'll be plenty more, I'm sure.
Thank you very much, Charlie. Good to see half-time there. Also half-time in the Swansea-Huddersfield game. We've got Barnaby Page there who can give us an update. But Baxter, coming straight to you. Big moment in your game there.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I think we're a bit like Mystic Mac at the moment because we predicted there'd be a lot of goals in this game, and it's going very scrappy in this game as Ollie McBurney has been sent off. Second yellow card. First one was for the elbow, and you never guess what? The second one was for another elbow. He elbows Josh, I think it's Josh Brownhill, right in the face. 2 elbows, 2 yellows, and now it's a red card. Sheffield United down to 10 men, 2-0 down. 47th minute, an extra 3 minutes yet to play in this first half. And yeah, I don't see Sheffield United coming back from this one.
Second red card for Ollie McBurney. Saw red against Tottenham in September as well this season. Not a good start coming back to the Premier League for him. Is that Sheffield down and out then, do you think? Sheffield United in trouble?
I believe. I don't see how they can come back from this with their main top goal scorer out for the next. I think it would be out for the next game. I think it might have been a straight red for the second one. The first one was almost like his elbow got shoved into the other player's mouth, but it did look malicious, and this one was just purely violent. He's clearly got some sort of anger problems. But yeah, this is... You can't elbow someone twice without getting sent off. So yeah, I think Sheffield United are fully done here. It'll be an amazing comeback if they manage to win this or even get a point out of it.
You'd imagine he'd have a lot more discipline. He's 27 years old, the striker. 133rd game for Sheffield United today. You'd expect them to know better. Michael, you're smiling in the corner. Anything happening in your game, or are you just enjoying the red card?
No, we had a funny little incident there. It was Middlesbrough on the attack. They had the ball on the right-hand side, and they crossed it. It went over everyone to the number 24, which is no, not 24, 25, my pardon, Sam Byron, who then whips it in again. And it obviously doesn't touch a Middlesbrough player, as a Leeds player defended it. And they were letting it go out for a throw-in, and then the linesman just put the flag the other way. Ellen Road went into jeers all around until the referee had a word with his fourth official, and Middlesbrough got the free kick. But apart from that, it seems to be all Middlesbrough since the second goal. As I speak, Leeds are on a counter-attack though, and it's Dan James who looks like he's in the box. It's been tackled, and Middlesbrough can clear. Excuse me, still Leeds 3, Middlesbrough 2.
Well, very close to half-time, and half-time across a lot of the grounds at the moment. Swansea-Huddersfield, one of the games that's reached the interval. We've got Barnaby Page there. How's the first half been? Sorry for the technical difficulties there, guys. We'll work hard to get the audio back. But yeah, it's Barnaby Page currently at the Swansea-Huddersfield game. Half-time at the interval. He'll bring us an update very shortly. Edging towards half-time now, surely, Dan, in the Arsenal-Wolves game?
Yeah, there was 7 minutes of time added on because of that Jose Sarr injury. Trossard's just had an attempt, just goes past the left post. Yeah, 2-0, Arsenal looking very, very comfortable at the moment. Wolves just having a few half chances. Cunha jinked inside the box, looked to have been fouled by Gabriel, but the referee was having none of that just a few moments ago. Bentley's done all right in goal. He saved well from Jesus, who could have scored and should have really scored after he was put through. Just a tame attempt, and Bentley gathered nice and easily. But always a chance, and Raya comes out, and the ball was just edged towards the edge of the penalty area. Confusion between the back, and Hwang Hee-chan latched onto it, and Raya sort of hesitated and come out just on the edge of the penalty area as I was speaking to you then. But Arsenal just got away with that as the referee looks to blow his whistle. We've got 4 seconds left, so looks to be about time here. Well, Wolves just pick up a free kick, but yeah, 2-0. A little bit of a scary moment for David Raya, who's deputising obviously for Ramsdale on loan from Brentford at the moment. But yeah, still 2-0 here.
Fantastic, thank you. And yeah, many games nearing half-time. Let's check in now. Let's go on the road to one of our local non-league sides at Tottenham. We've got Liam Harding reporting live.
Oh, yeah, looking
I'm here at the Snow Stadium. It's completely covered in fog. Can you see it? Can you not? However, that doesn't make excuses for Tottenham's first half display. They've been absolutely disappointing and sloppy. They've had 3 penalty appeals, but Cheshire United have been on top with their 2 goals. And Ricardo German has just made it 19 goals this season. He's the Southern Premier's top goal scorer. There's also a scrap at the end. It was absolutely ridiculous. No yellow cards were given to a number of the players that were sworn at the referee. The referee's completely lost the game and he really lost discipline in the players. Any questions?
Thank you very much there, Liam. Just to clarify what I said earlier, it is actually 2-0 to Chesham and not to Tottenham. We can go now live to Swansea then, back towards Wales, of course, cross the border. Barnaby Page there reporting live.
Yes, it's half-time here, 1-0 to Huddersfield Town. Following a goal 3 minutes into the contest from a Cabango own goal. Swansea have tried with a few chances here and there. Jamie Patterson looks promising for the Swans, but it's quite static in midfield and they haven't really got much going. Just on the end of the half, though, Huddersfield had a chance to go 2-0 up, but for a very good save from Carl Rushworth. I've just seen Harry Darling getting changed and putting on his Swan shirt, so it looks like he's coming out at half-time.
Thank you very much, Barnaby. Let's have a look now at the FA Cup then, because it's half-time across the country. We have got, so far, Bolton 3-1 up against Harrogate Town. Cambridge United leading against Fleetwood 3-0. No changes there since I last updated you on that fixture. Looking towards Gillingham 2-0 up against Charlton. Deep into stoppage time there at the first half. Also Maidstone and Barrow 1-0 at the moment. We've got a half-time update, though, to cut myself off there for the FA Cup. More importantly, let's go down towards our newsroom to learn more about St Mary's Stadium's events today. We have got Callum Kemp.
Yep, it's half-time here at St Mary's, still 2-0 to Southampton, both goals coming from Adam Armstrong. Possession thoroughly in Southampton's favour, 65%, dominant as they have been all season with, I believe, the highest average percentage in the whole of the 92. No indication that there will be substitutes yet. Jan Bednarek was down for several minutes due to an injury. He did come back on and play out the rest of the half, but unsure whether or not we'll see him come the end of half-time. But yeah, 2-0 currently. Southampton looking very much dominant, looking like they're going to make it 11 games unbeaten.
Thank you very much, Callum. Let's look in the studio now then. Ethan, you used the word dross just a second ago talking about that first half while the cameras weren't rolling. Give us an update at half-time.
It's pretty poor so far. Do you know what I've got to say? Ty from Arsenal Fan TV said it first. Neil Maupay, you're a disgrace. He's been absolutely awful. He can't hold up the ball for anything. He's been taking pot shots flying miles over the bar. Brian Mbomo's been showing him up, who's probably been the best player on the pitch in this first half. Dribbling in tight spaces, slotting it through 2 players like Maupay who continue to mess it up for him. Yeah, not a lot to talk about in this first half. Pot shots galore. Kaminski booked for time wasting around the 30th minute, which was something you love to see in the first half of a football match. I'm hoping for a better second half.
Well, let's talk about Brentford. You say pot shots and not too much happening. Are they still in control or is it a bit more open?
No, I'd say they're pretty much in control, just kind of playing the ball around, waiting for that best pass. But when you see Brentford at their best, they're hitting teams on the counter, playing long balls over the top, even sometimes swinging in set pieces, but I'm not sure you'll get much luck with that against Luton. Hopefully Michael Ryder stops hogging all the goals and I can have a couple in this second half, because, yeah, really not a lot to talk about here.
Michael, looking towards you then half-time. I mean, how's it been in the first half? You've been on your toes.
I have been on my toes. I feel like a bit more than I'm bargained for originally. It's 3-2 going into half-time, and what a game we've had. Leeds have probably just edged it out of the 2 sides, but Middlesbrough have looked dangerous as well, with a total of 18 shots in that first half, so it has been end-to-end stuff. It's also been a bit feisty as well. There have been about 4 or 5 yellow cards in that first half, and a few little arguments, so the referees had to calm it down a bit, and I think we might be in for one of the best games of football I've ever watched, and probably one of the best second halves I'll see ever.
Fantastic. I'm not sure if this is one of the best games that Alex Isaacs has ever watched, but let's have a half-time update now from the Den. How are you doing, Alex?
Yeah, hello Reece. It is half-time here at the Den, and that half was so, I mean, in the first 40 minutes was so hostile, and you could see the hostility around the ground. A total of 10 fouls in that first half. But until that 40-minute mark, it was so scrappy. And Kevin Nisbet's goal in the 40th minute is the only thing separating these two sides right now. As I said in my preview of the game, this fixture needed a reignition, and Kevin Nisbet has certainly done that for this Millwall side. So let's see if they can kick on now. Being the home side, let's see if they can kick on in their second half and kick on from that goal. For Sunderland, though, they need to do something really special here. They need to get back into the game, maybe bring Joe Bellingham on. You know, he's the brother of England superstar, Jude Bellingham, and it was reported that Real Madrid want to buy him as well for £6 million. But yeah, let's see what happens in the second half. And I'm sure I'll have more exciting news for you during that time. Back to you in the studio.
Great to hear from the Den there live in stadium. Speaking to someone also live at the game, let's go to Ringwood Town as they host Fawley AFC. It's half-time, Ethan Green. How's it been?
Thanks, Reece. Yes, it is half-time here. It was a goal for Fawley just before half-time, though. The two strikers sort of connected as one of them hit the bar and the second one stabbed at home. That was Dec Hartigan getting Fawley back into the game. So it's 2-1 now. But half-time here, the fog is very, very thick at the moment, and I can barely see the opposite side of the pitch from where I'm standing at the moment. But yeah, as it is at half-time, it's Ringwood Town 2, Fawley 1.
Thank you very much, Ethan, for the update there. Dan, let's have a half-time update from you at the Emirates. Wolves, Arsenal still in complete control of the game?
Yeah, half-time now after that lengthy stoppage, added time. It's 2-0. Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard, the stars of Arsenal, putting them 2-0 to the good. In fact, it's Bukayo Saka's 100th goal of this calendar year. What a superstar that young man is. Yeah, the first one came from Tomiyasu. He found Saka, nicely worked into bounced off Craig Dawson's leg, and then Bukayo Saka just slotted it past Jose Sarr. Odegaard got the second. It was a long ball over from Saka all the way to Zinchenko. He played a nice 1-2 with Jesus on the left-hand side of the penalty area, and from about 12 yards out, Odegaard smashed into the bottom right-hand corner. Martinelli also hit the post on the 36th minute mark after a one-on-one, curled the ball with his right foot, but just hit the left-hand side of the post. Wolves haven't really had much. I don't think they've even had a shot on target yet, but they've kept the ball in nice attacking areas, but it's just that final third that's lacking for Gary O'Neill's side. I think that's what he'll be telling his team in the half-time talk. But yes, 2-0 Arsenal, pretty much in control here, Reece.
And just to stay with you, Dan, we talked before the game about some of those shocking referee decisions that have gone against Wolves. Will they be happy with the refereeing performance today, or is he still not going to be very happy?
Yeah, there's no real controversial decisions so far. Cunha got tackled by Gabriel, but it was a good tackle after the pair discussed after the matter. But nothing that Gary O'Neill can deflect on the referee at the moment. His side has been poor. It didn't help that they were 2-0 down after 13 minutes. That's for sure. But yeah, Arsenal in control, half-time.
Thank you very much, Dan. Just to touch on the one and only League One fixture of the afternoon, it's half-time between Portsmouth and Northampton. Portsmouth leading 2-0. Baxter, we'll come to you now. Still half-time, but how's it been in the first half, and how do you think it's going to go in the second?
Yeah, it's mainly been Burnley. They've been dominating possession. They've dominated the shots. They've dominated the shots on target. It's all gone Burnley's way. And with the late sending off of Ollie McBurney, only a couple minutes before half-time, I don't see how Sheffield United will get back into this. Goals from Jay Rodriguez and I've forgotten his name all of a sudden. Jacob Brun-Larsen, there we go. It's come back to me. Who's possibly been the player of the match. Goals from them will help Burnley seal and should get their first 3 points from home this season.
And speaking of Larsen, who scored the second goal, have you seen much of him before? He's a young Danish winger on loan.
Yeah, personally, I've not. But from this game alone, he looks like a very good player. Coming from a good Bundesliga side in Hoffenheim, I know he had a good season there a couple of years ago. But he's certainly been all over, and he's been all over Sheffield United, and he's been given Luke Thomas a very hard time. He's found it very hard to control him, even fouled him a couple of times, which led to his yellow card. Yeah, it's been very scrappy with 4 yellow cards and a red card in this game. I can imagine more in the second half. But Sheffield United have a mountain to climb if they want to even get a point from this.
Absolutely, it's not looking great. Larson from Copenhagen as well, born there. We've spoken to Joshua Stewart in Copenhagen. We're going to go back to Lille Arthur in Austria very shortly, and we'll provide you updates out there after their game was postponed. But until they're ready, we can stay in the studio. Ethan, I've got to ask, I mean, it's not been an eventful first half. There's not much for me to pluck out on, but let's talk about the Luton player and the manager who were nominated for those monthly awards. How do you feel about that? Is that sort of a testament as to how much progress they're making?
Well, I think everyone, I don't know about everyone here, but myself, when I was predicting the Premier League table at the start of the season, I had Luton right down there in the relegation zone. I mean, a club of that size, and even the way they went up, playoff final against Coventry last season, I don't think there was any expectation on them at all to stay up. I know a Luton fan myself, I was speaking to him and he was saying, look, all I want is a good showing, don't embarrass ourselves. They're happy just to be here, but now they're here and with a fighting chance, especially with the point deduction from Everton. And Rob Jones has been really impressing. I think those results last month against Liverpool and Crystal Palace, fantastic results and huge for them in the fight to stay up. The fact that they're ahead of points on Sheffield United and Burnley is a testament to them, considering those sides went up in the automatic spots and arguably played better football than them last season. I think so far it's been a very impressive season for Luton, and let's hope they can keep the fairy tale alive.
I mean, looking at Luton, and you said a club of their size, to be fair, Brentford, not that much of a dissimilar story. They both sort of travelled really far up the Premier League, up the football pyramid, in the last 10 years.
Yeah, well, these two sides were facing off actually in the 08-09 season in the League Two. But yeah, for Brentford, it's almost been a different story. They've built up on analytics and data, and they've done very smart recruitment, obviously, with a lot of their players coming from Scandinavia. They've just been smart with the players they've bought and flipping them for profit, like Neil Mopai, who somehow has come back on loan. Also, other players like Ollie Watkins, who used to play for them. They've just done smart business and built themselves up slowly as a club, and here they are now, looking like one of the better mid-table sides in the Premier League. And
not too far away, surely, from the half-time break being over and that game being back underway. Have they come out yet?
Just as you say that, we're about to kick off now for this second half.
It's a Midas touch. We keep talking about the goals, they're going in, we're talking about scraps and they're happening. We are now ready to go live to Austria then. We've got Ollie Howard there with us. He's going to be bringing some updates from across the other side of Europe. Ollie, how's it been out there?
Yeah, hi, Reese. Yeah, it's still snowing. Obviously, the game didn't go ahead today, but it's not all bad news from where we are. Following my tweet saying that we obviously couldn't get to the game because it's been postponed, it's been rescheduled for tomorrow. But the Red Bull Salzburg Twitter media team have reached out to me, and then they said that they'll offer myself and Lily both free merchandise. So, like I said, not all bad. We just had security come up to us to say if we were up to anything fishy. And I just tried to explain that we were sports journalism students. We're just doing live reporting for YouTube. So luckily that all went okay. We've had a little tour around the stadium, looked inside the ground, and there was absolutely no way that that game was ever going ahead. There's thick snow everywhere, both inside and out. If you come across here now, you can just see, as you probably saw about an hour ago, it's just so thick. It makes a really difficult challenge to walk around. I don't think any of the buses are going. But luckily, we've managed to sort out some Uber rides, so we'll be heading into the city centre within the next few minutes, and hopefully we can get some strudel into our bellies and enjoy the Christmas market.
Make sure that you're going to eat that strudel in your merchandise. Make sure you get that sorted. I assumed when you said it was going to be postponed that it would be played after Christmas, but it's going to be played tomorrow. How on earth is that going to go ahead?
I'm not sure, to be honest, Reese, because like I said, when I looked into the ground, we didn't see all of the stadium, but we could see a fair bit of it. There's still snow. There's a thick layer of snow above the entirety of the ground, and it is still snowing now. I'm sure you can see it coming across us. I think the groundsmen are going to have a hell of a task on their hands. Luckily, I'm not going to be involved in that. My fingers are freezing. I think it's about -2 degrees at the moment. So hopefully, as soon as we finish this, we're going to get into the warmth. And hopefully there's I don't even know, maybe some outside heating or something to keep us going. Somehow I've even lost my gloves, which makes it a really difficult task, but the snow's doing me well at the moment.
Gloves at the very least. Are you going into the Christmas market, you said? I won't keep you in the cold for too long, but what are you up to now?
Yeah, we're still outside the stadium at the moment just to see, we just wanted a tour really, just have a look around. There's a hospitality in front of me as well, which looks really, really nice. You can see some of the, I'm not sure if you'll be able to catch it on the camera, but there's some shirts behind me in that glass container. And it's almost like a cabinet. So yeah, at the moment we're just staying around the stadium. But for the next hour and a half or so, like I said, we're going to head into the city centre, see what the Christmas market's like, because we've heard it's supposed to be one of the best in Europe. Austria are renowned for that. Both Vienna and Salzburg are both to be absolutely fantastic for those kind of things. So we're going to experience that, see some of the Christmas trees, see some of the Christmas vibes, and I'm sure we'll be back to you shortly.
Thank you very much, Ollie. Yeah, get out of the cold. I'm seeing it's -3 degrees out there. So let's come into the warmth of the studio. Are we back underway yet, Dan, with the Arsenal game?
No, still half-time here. Obviously a long break due to Jose Sarr going down injured for a lengthy period of time. He was replaced by Daniel Bentley, making only his 5th appearance for Wolves today. But obviously, in fact, the teams are coming out as you speak again. Arsenal in complete control of this game. Wolves, hopefully for their point of view, Gary O'Neill would have said something at half-time to sort of, if they can get an early goal, maybe, just maybe they could sort of get a way back into this game. As you said, it is a mountain to climb, but there is still a chance at being 2-0 down.
Absolutely. Ethan, you're covering the Brentford game at the moment. We've just started off in the second half. How's it going?
Well, Luton have been forced into a change. They had to take captain Tom Lockyer off due to injury, and it actually seems like they've gone a bit more attacking. As I say this, Wissa plays a ball into the box. That's a chance and it's 1-0. And it's the man I was slating the whole of the first half. It's Neil Maupay. He's proved me wrong. He takes a bow to the fans. It's a bit lucky, but the ball comes to him after Mbeumo can't get it under control in the 6-yard box and he just slots it home. Just as I said Luton were going more attacking, I think it's cost them. They brought on Jacob Brown, changed formation, gone to a back 4, and it's only taken 4 minutes in this second half, and Brentford have found a goal. At last.
And yeah, a big goal there from Neil Maupay. He'll need that for his confidence. You said he didn't have a good first half.
No, he was absolutely horrendous in the first half. Anything that came to him, he was missing it, scuffing it, losing the ball. And I actually think that's Yarmouk in the box. So the ball's whipped in by Wissa. Yarmouk kind of gets his shot off after making the initial pass out wide. It deflects then off, I think that's Osho. Yeah, back to Neil Maupay, and he can't miss that one. As much as I was slating him, that one is one he simply cannot miss, although you never know with this guy.
Well, Maupay, of course, on loan from Everton this season, his second stint at Brentford. He broke records before. That's his second goal in 7 games this time out. So we'll see if that can spur him on a bit. Michael, how are we looking? Must be underway in the second half now.
We're just about to kick off now. We did have a lengthy stoppage due to an injury in the first half, so it's Middlesbrough that'll be getting us underway. And I've learned 3 things here today. 1, Leeds-Middlesbrough is a fantastic game. 2, Ethan does not like Neil Maupay. And 3, we should all buy lottery tickets because we are predicting everything.
Fantastic. And yeah, it's been eventful. I mean, who's in control now?
Well, it's literally just kicked off, so it is currently Middlesbrough on the ball, and they've just hoofed it along to Leeds. So nothing's kicked off in the second half yet, but if there are any chances, I'll be right to you.
I was going to say, are you expecting a lot of chances this time out?
I'd like to hope so. We had 5 in the first half, and I'm just trying to say go more than Ethan says he hates Neil Maupay. So that's a little challenge I've got myself for today, and we'll see who comes out on top.
An almost impossible challenge, but let's go now back to Tottenham. We've got Liam Harding, always passionate. He's ready to give us another update.
I'm here at the Snow Stadium, and to be honest, not much has happened this half. There's been no goals, no efforts on goal, and there's been no real clear chances by Chesham or Tottenham. However, it's remained pretty even this half. Whoops. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much, Liam, as ever, for the update. Baxter, let's come back to you. Sheffield United playing with a man down and 2 goals down as well. Have they managed to do anything at the start of the second half?
No, so it's about 3 minutes into the second half. They did make a triple substitution at the half-time mark. Cameron Archer, Luke Thomas and John Fleck all coming off for William Osulu, Bernard Traore and James McAtee, the Man City loanee. They've gone way more attacking, which is a bold statement, but I think they'd rather lose by 3 goals and and get a point rather than lose 2-0 and hold out for a 2-0 loss. So they're going to go for it in this second half. I can imagine a lot more cards, and I think there might be a few more goals as well.
Well, it's just like we were saying before the game started as well. Paul Heckingbottom, odds-on favourite to be sacked next, sorry. So maybe it's a last roll of the dice for his job and for this game. But let's go back out to Basingstoke now for another live update. We've got Callum Pearman out there.
Yeah, well, it's been a very interesting start to this second half. DeAndre Brown had a ball cleared off of the line by a Solent defender before then, not even minutes later, Dan Brown was gifted via a poor back pass and then slotted in to an almost empty net at this point. And now it's starting to get a bit of a feisty affair with the players. You can barely see on the other side due to the fog, but you can see there's been players from a resulting free kick now after a bit of a push and a shove and a pull down from one of the Basingstoke players. It's now a free kick. If you just stay with us and we can watch this to see if anything happens through this. It's now 1-1. Dan Mason with the goal. A top goal scorer for Sholing in their history and now especially in their season, one above Brad Target, but we'll see with the resulting free kick to see if anything happens now. Whipped in, knocks, and that's number 15, the free header back by Brad Target into the box. It's now Miller, attempted cross and a diving header clearance. If you just stick with us for just a little longer, we can see from the resulting even throw in, it seems to be maybe even a long throw in here to keep with us. Number 15 come off the bench. The number 15 off the bench. Luke Chilwell has looked really, really good for this Sholing outfit. He's on the ball now as he knocks it back. And unfortunately nothing comes of that. But it is now 1-1, Sholing looking good, a lot better in this second half, and that was the plan from the players after the goal. It was standards have dropped and now we've got to bring it back up. But back to you live in the studio.
Thank you very much, Callum. Let's stay on the road now, straight back to the Den in Millwall. We've got Alex Isaacs reporting live.
Yes, hello Reece and welcome back to the Den. It is 57 minutes played, still 1-0 to Millwall, but the start of this second half has been absolutely brilliant. Millwall to add on a second, and I'll tell you what, Norton Cuffy has been absolutely fantastic. He's on loan from Arsenal on a season-long loan, and Arsenal will probably be looking at getting him back anytime soon. He's been causing so many problems down that right-hand side, and Millwall look absolutely fired up. Sunderland with a point to prove, and they are doing that, and they have made a triple substitution. Bradley Dack, the Blackburn legend, has come on for Mason Burstone, who was carded in the first half. Uchiche has come off, and Alex Pritchard replaces him, and then it is Barr off for Robertson. So an attacking trio there on for Sunderland. So let's see if they can kick on and find an equaliser. But the Millwall fans are so up for this as they look for their team to get a second. But Sunderland now come on the counter-attack, and it is with Jack Clark, but nothing comes from it. But yeah, still 1-0 to Millwall here, 58 minutes played. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you very much. We've got another goal then in Totton. Liam Harding reporting live. Let's see what's happened.
Tottenham have just pulled a goal back. It's 2-1 to Chesham United. Scott Reynolds just scored for Tottenham from a penalty. You never know, they might just get a second goal. Tottenham are really crawling back now, and it's all down Chesham's half, literally. And who could have guessed it? It's snowing here at the Snow Stadium, very faintly. You can't see it, but it's on Jakob's jacket. That's all from Liam Harding at the Snow Stadium.
Fantastic to see Tottenham back in there and back with a shout. 2-1 to Chesham at the moment. I mean, Chesham have only lost 3 games all season, so it's a big ask for Tottenham. Let's have a look at Brentford. Ethan, what's happened? A little scream from you while we were away at Tottenham.
Well, it's been raining goals in this second half, and it's a Luton player that's found the net, but it's the wrong one. It's Carlton Morris with an own goal. Ben Mee has kind of flicked it on from a corner, and Carlton Morris just can't get out of the way of it. Deflection takes it past his own keeper, and yeah, that makes it 2-0 to Brentford, which they've been all over Luton this half. I've got to say, I think Rob Edwards got it wrong going more attacking, because since then they've looked so vulnerable. Brentford getting chance after chance, and it might be a mauling here.
And it was literally minutes ago you were saying that it was a bad decision to go more attacking. I mean, is that a good sign for Brentford?
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic for them. The chances just aren't stopped coming. I mean, at this rate, Neil Maupay will end up with a hat-trick. It just keeps on going. Looks like Andros Townsend's getting ready to warm up now. That's a blast from the past. So, yeah, he'll be coming on soon. See if he can change Luton's fortunes.
So let's go now back down to the newsroom, as we've got some news at St Mary's. A goal ruled out for offside, or has it stood? Let's find out. Callum.
Yep, so Southampton have a goal ruled out for offside. It was very, very close, and I think in the Premier League that would have gone to VAR and maybe have gone Southampton's way, in all honesty. It was Che Adams who was ruled out. It was the outstretched leg of one of the Cardiff defenders made it a very dubious call, but yeah, it's gone in Cardiff's favour, and following that they've enacted some changes. They've taken off Callum Robinson and brought on Colwill, just looking to change things up in an attacking sense and maybe take the best of his opportunity that Southampton haven't actually got that third goal and try and claim something from this game.
Thank you very much, Callum Kemp, then, for all the latest news on the Southampton game. Let's bring it into the studio. Michael, a lot's happened since we've last spoke. Some big chances?
A lot has happened. Middlesbrough have probably been the better side going into the second half, and it just seems to be Leeds countering now. But a few minutes into the second half, it was Clark who had a free header for Middlesbrough to try and equalise. Missed it, just grazed over the bar. And then possibly one of the misses of the season. The ball's played into Rutter. He's one-on-one. He tries finding the bottom corner on the goalkeeper's side, and the goalkeeper pushes it away. Referee doesn't see it, gives a goal kick, and now Leeds do have a free kick just on the edge of the box if you would like to stay with me. It's Somerville who is over the ball. They've got a packed box full of Struick, Ethan Ampadu. They play it to the edge of the box. It got to Archie Gray, who's hit one from range. Ooh, a few yards past the post there, but yeah, this young lad Archie Gray and Isaiah Jones have been the best players on the pitch for each team respectively.
Fantastic. Good to see some young talent showing strong. Let's move straight back to Hashtag United then. Charlie Clayton's there live. What's happened at Hashtag, Charlie?
Yes, whatever has happened, whatever was said in that Canvey Island dressing room at half-time has seriously paid off. Completely different team from the first half, as I saw. And a penalty incident which was clearly waved away by the referee, but it looked clear and obvious to me that maybe he's perhaps made an error. Substitute Lucas Landers has come on, tried to go around the goalkeeper, Stolajic, and he seemed to have brought him down, but the referee has disagreed with the attacker. And, Hashtag United have come close to shot and saved once again. Hashtag United are starting to get their noses into the second half. They've got a corner on the far side, so there's going to be some more action coming up, definitely.
Thank you very much, Charlie. Sounding like Hashtag very much in control. Baxter, let's come to you. Sheffield United still a man down, of course, after a red card in the first half. Who's in control?
It's still Burnley, I'm afraid, for Will Cope. But yeah, Burnley have dominated the ball. They've had all the attacks in this half. Plenty. There have been, I think, just one attack. But it's still gone Burnley's way. Sheffield United, as soon as they get the ball, they look panicked, they look rushed. They're just playing a long ball over the top. It's going to no one. The substitutes have come on, and they do look like they've made a bit of a difference. Traore down the left-hand side has been causing all sorts of problems for Charlie Taylor, but nothing has happened just of yet. Sheffield United have just played another long ball over the top. It is gone to, I believe that is Osholo. But again, they've just passed it back towards their defenders, and they're just keeping the ball and not doing really much with it. It's still 2-0, 55 minutes played.
Thank you, Baxter. And Sheffield United on course to lose 11 of their first, 14 games. And Burnley even winning this game convincingly without veteran midfielder Jack Cork in the middle. Are they missing him in the middle, or are they playing fine?
I think Sander Berge and Josh Brownhill are controlling the middle of the park very well. It looks like the old Burnley from the Championship. Vincent Kompany has they're playing another Championship side. Obviously, their only other 3 points were against Luton. when they're playing these the last season's championship side, they look so comfortable and they look like they're controlling the ball. But I think Vincent Kompany style is working with the lower Premier League clubs rather than the higher Premier League clubs. But they look absolutely dominant in this game. I don't see how Sheffield United get back into this.
But just to stay with you for one last question as well, if it's only a case where they look good against championship sides, they're not really going to stay up, are they? Is it naivety from Kompany?
Possibly. I don't know what Kompany is thinking or doing, but whatever he's done this game, it has worked perfectly. What they need to do now is continue how they've played the first 60 minutes of this game and play like it against other Premier League clubs, and they should do well and they should stay up. I think possibly Vincent Kompany might have changed something when they jumped up to the Premier League, and it might not have worked very well. But whatever he's done in this game, it's worked perfectly. Like I said, 2-0 Burnley, 60 minutes played.
Thank you very much, Baxter. Let's jump for an update then at the Den now, looking at some more Championship football. Alex Isaacs, what's happening at Millwall?
Yeah, hello, Reece. I spoke before about Sunderland making their substitutions and their substitutions having an impact. However, Bradley Dack has just failed to make it 1-1. 65 minutes here played here, but it should be 1-1. Jack Clark beat his man on the left-hand side, Leonard, with some brilliant skill and snuck the ball into the 6-yard box, and Bradley Dack, the former Blackburn legend, has to put it away. He has to put it away, and unfortunately he doesn't. So it's still 1-0 here to Millwall. 66 minutes played now, and here is Jack Clark yet again causing problems on the left-hand side, but he is beaten off the ball by Norton Cuffey and gives away a foul. But yeah, still 1-0 here to Millwall, but Sunderland looking to do something with their substitutions that they brought on. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you very much, Alex. Appreciate the update again from the Den live watching Millwall. Let's go on back into the studio then, Dan. About 60 minutes played, half an hour left for Arsenal. Still 2-0 up?
Yes, still 2-0. I think Arsenal have started the second half how they started the first half, albeit not scoring at the moment. There was a chance as the ball was whipped in by Tomiyasu on the right-hand side. It was whipped into Jesus, alleged to have been pulled back by the Wolves skipper Max Kilman, but the referee was having none of that. Having said Arsenal have been dominating, Wolves got the other end a few minutes later. Cunha has had a good chance, but that was well saved by David Raya. Pablo Sarabia is warming up for Wolves. Gary O'Neill trying to make an early change into the second half to try and salvage something out of this game. As you said, half an hour left, not a lot of time against top of the league at the moment. It'll be fairly disappointed that they haven't really conjured up any real clear-cut chances, a few half chances at best, but Arsenal still seeming to be pretty dominant in this game so far.
And staying with you, Dan, I mean, we talked about at the start Arsenal's form and the fact they want to try and win the league. They're currently top of the league with this win, considering Manchester City play tomorrow. 2-0 against Wolves. Is this a champion sort of performance? Is it a title-winning level?
It's certainly, I wouldn't say it was a statement because they should be winning these sort of games. But I mean, as I said at the beginning of the show, if they keep grinding out these sort of results, getting points against teams, not dropping any points, then this is sort of a run of consecutive champions victories. If I'm being honest with you. Perfect,
thank you. And I heard a few sighs and puffs from you guys. Has there been some big chances there? Baxter, where are we looking?
Yeah, again, it's all Burnley. They've had two good chances within 30 seconds there. Beautiful 1-2 passing between Ziki Amoudi and Vitinho, the right back, passing it through, getting it around the Sheffield United defenders, but the last pass just a little bit too heavy, and Wesley Fotheringham picks it up. The substitute William Oshola has just picked up a yellow card as well, I believe, for, would you guess it, another elbow on Josh Brownhill. It feels like Paul Heckingbottom has just been training them is taking them down to an MMA gym for the day, do a bit of team bonding, and they've taken that a bit too seriously today. But yeah, still 2-0 Burnley. They look the better team, 65 minutes played.
2-0 down against a team they were playing in the same league last season, and lots of lacks of discipline. Is this sort of the beginning of the end for Sheffield, do you think?
It's still so early in the season that anything can change, but from the first 14 14 games that I've seen, I do feel like Sheffield United have a massive uphill battle if they want to stay in this league and even get above 20 points at this point.
Do you think maybe it's the beginning of the end for Paul Heckingbottom at least? Have they given up? Is that why they're lashing out and throwing these elbows?
I don't know, but I do think it's the end for Paul. I don't see how they don't fire him either after this match, or they're going to need an absolutely massive result then in the next fixtures coming up for him to stay on the job. But at the moment, there are so many free managers available in the world. I don't see how they stick with him.
No, thank you very much, Baxter. Michael, you're itching to say something at the end there. What's happened?
Middlesbrough chances of a comeback may have just took a massive hit. It's a red card for number 15, Dick Steele. Already on a yellow. He's got the ball in his own half and he's trying to turn, loses it sloppily and just lunges. It's so reckless. The referee has no decision but to send him off. And if you are from Middlesbrough, unfortunately, things go from bad to worse from you. Still 3-2 leads.
So is that probably the end for Middlesbrough as well? Do you see them still getting back into it?
I mean, football's football. I've seen crazier things happen, but with Leeds, they have been piling the pressure on a bit in the last few minutes, so I can imagine they'll see it out, and Daniel Farke will be hoping that they do.
Amazing, thank you very much. Ethan, had no goals in the first half. You've had a couple this half. You enjoying the game now?
I am, and I think Neil Mope may have been watching, because he's come out this half a completely different player. I don't know what Thomas Frank said to him or done to him, but it's definitely got results. Luton made a triple change as well, bringing on Adebayo, Andros Townsend and Championship playoff final Jordan Clark in an attempt to kind of shake things up. That was about 5 minutes ago, bringing off Carlton Morris, Ogbean and Pele Rudder-Kampanzu. Yeah, they were trying to shake it up, but like it really hasn't done much. Brentford just have more quality and also look more tactically aware as well. Just as I say that, Brentford are making a substitute of their own, bringing off youngster Yarmouk in midfield and bringing on Shandon Baptiste. I think that's just a like-for-like switch. But yeah, Brentford comfortably in control, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were to get another 1 or 2, to be honest.
Thank you very much, Ethan. Let's brave the cold now then. We haven't been out for a little while. The sun's already setting. We're back to Basingstoke now. I'm seeing more footy scram with you there, Callum.
Yeah, we're about halfway through the burger right now. It's taken its sweet, sweet time to try and get through. As you can see here, a little bit cold now, but still just as delicious as ever. As this game is at the moment, Dan Mason has now made it 2-1 after some really, really good Basingstoke play as well. Off the back of a few chances for Basingstoke that just have gone either a little bit wide, one been cleared off the line, one saved by Ryan Gosling. But on the counter-attack, a ball fired up to Luke Chulwell, who's been excellent, number 15 for Solent, coming off the bench for this second half. He chests it down and knocks it down to Dan Mason, who cuts on the inside and fires it top corner. And this game is now starting to get even more feisty, as a yellow card for Miller on the right back of Solent, and we've got another free kick in a dangerous area for Solent. Just a quick taste of the burger in between this little lull in play. And it is still as gorgeous as can be beautiful. If anyone's down anywhere near Basingstoke, just come to a game just for the burger. But we do now have this free kick being whipped in. And it's great. Oh, handball by Brad Target. And the Basingstoke players now screaming out for a red card. And he's been given a yellow. And I believe that Brad Target has been sent off for this. He's been giving his marching orders, and Brad Target has been sent off after a ball came in from the resulting free kick. And he's put his hand up, not even to put it on target, as if it was going wide, and he just thought, why not? As instinct, and Brad Target has now been sent off for this. It has been a red card for Sholing, who are now 2-1 up but now will have to be put on the back foot away at now Basingstoke. And after losing 4-0 in this reverse fixture, Sholing are at risk of going down and then losing another game. The referee, maybe even influenced by the crowd a little bit here, as a lot of people were pushing off for that red card after the referee was looking to carry on. Even the Basingstoke fans now, or sorry, the Sholing players now crowded around the coaches, trying to speak on what they do now as they are down to 10 men. We'll keep you updated throughout every part of this, even the linesmen now getting involved as well, but we'll keep you updated every little part later on today.
Thank you very much, Callum. A bit of a blessing in disguise for Brad Target. He can go get himself a burger now, so always a bright side of every shadow. But hey, let's go down to Ringwood again as they host Fawley. Ethan Green's got an update for us.
Yes, Reece, little update for you here. We're currently have had a stoppage in play after the game has been stopped because of fog. Essentially, I can't see the opposite sideline over here, and we're not sure if the game can continue. Oh, sorry, quick, the referee just blew his whistle a couple times, and I think, the players are walking to the change rooms. I think this game has just been called off, so this game will have to be replayed again. I'm not sure when that will be able to take place, but it seems like the game has ended here. Ringwood Town 2, Fawley 1. Fawley were coming back into this game actually and started off the second half pretty well. However, we will not see how this game would have ended at the moment. So, yep, there it is. Ringwood Town 2, Fawley 1, and seems the game's ended here. Cheers. Back to you, studio.
The game's been abandoned then, and Ethan's missed the game due to the fog. There's been missed chances at the Den. Alex Isaacs with a new update for us.
Right, you have come to me at the perfect time because Jack Clark has just won a penalty for Millwall in the 76th. Jack Clark in the last time he came to me, how he's been down that left side as Bradley Dack has picked up the ball. Bradley Dack missed that opportunity. Can he make amends here? Before the penalty is taken, I will just update you on a few substitutions. For Millwall, Kevin Nisbet has come off for Bradshaw. Honeyman, the former Sunderland man, has come off for Longman. Fleming has come on for Watmore, who also used to play for Sunderland. While Sunderland, Dan Neil has made way for Spanish striker Mayenda. And sorry, no, it is Jack Clark who is going to step up to take the penalty. Bradley Dack did pick up the ball, but it's Jack Clark who is stepping up to the plate. Let's see what he can do here. There's a bit of delay as Jack Keeper is trying to put a stop to trying to cause some mayhem to stall Jack Clark. Jack Clark has a chance to make it 10 goals in 19 games. Let's see what he can do up against Bielkowski here. In front of the Sunderland fans, he steps up to take this penalty. And he scored! He slotted it into the left corner, beating Bielkowski. There's Bielkowski about that, and it is 1-1. 77th minute played. Back to you in the studio. This can be a very, very good game.
Thank you very much there, Alex. Always live updates here on Solent Sports News. We've got another goal as well for Burnley, I believe. Baxter, have we seen the goal for Burnley? I'm hearing there's been a goal.
There's no goal for Burnley. I believe it's the man next to me, Ethan Moss-Wells.
Is it? What's the score, Ethan?
Well, Luton have just pulled one back after, I think that might be their first shot on target, to be honest. It's been all Brentford, and then I think it's Ross Barkley plays a long ball through, not really dealt with by, I think that's Yenal, and Jacob Brown takes the ball, and that's his second goal in 2 games, scoring the winner against Crystal Palace last week. And it's a brilliant finish. He just kept it low, driven it home, just inside the box. Bit lucky. It's an awful clearance from Yanal. Just slides needlessly when he had the ball nearly at his feet. Jacob Brown gets the freedom just to cut inside, centre of the box, slots it, left-footed, past the keeper, and 2-1. We might have a game on our hands.
10 minutes to go. Baxter, has there been a goal at Burnley as well?
You are absolutely... What is going on in your mind right now that you can predict these things? It is a goal for Burnley. It's 3-0. It's number 25, Amaduri, passes it across to the Italian youngster, Collie Show, who slots it in the near post past Wesley Fotheringham. It's now 3-0 Burnley. And yeah, Sheffield United are done in this match. They had a very good spell for about 5 minutes where they created a couple of chances, but it's 3-0 Burnley, and it's I think Burnley. I think this is Burnley's to win now. It'd be unbelievable if Sheffield United came back. 3-0, 75 minutes played.
Absolutely. Still 15 more minutes as well to go there. We've got goals in the studio too, back to back. We've got a goal on the road as well. Charlie Clayton at #United.
Yes, #United have made it 3-0 in the Essex derby. Jamaili hits the ball in the back of net, smashes it into the left-hand side of the goal. Ball gets cut back from the left-hand side. As I've been paused, one-on-one, Toby Almiron hits it wide. Back onto what I was saying, the ball gets cut back from the left-hand side to the edge of the 18-mile box, where Jamaili smashes it into the left-hand side of the goal to make it 3-0 to #United. Back in control of this match, and I'd say that is probably game over now. I think most people have probably predicted that #United will come away from this match with 3 points and above their visitors into the table.
Fantastic goals flying in the late stages of the game. We've got another one in the studio, Baxter.
I don't know how this has happened, but I've missed a goal. I had a bit of a technical issue. The laptop froze for like a minute or two, and the goal that I missed was to make it 3-0, and the one that I just explained was to make it 4-0. But they've just shown a replay of the goal that made it 3-0. It's the number 25, Ziki Amoudi, who gets the goal. It's a ball on the left-hand side. It's headed in by Charlie Taylor, who grabs his second assist of the day. He's been great all game. It's come across to Ziki Amoudi, and he slotted it home to make it 3-0. Then obviously Luka Kovacic has made it 4-0. So it's 4-0 Burnley. There's no coming back for Sheffield United, and I don't think there's any coming back for manager Paul Heckingbottom.
Absolutely, and Burnley now making a triple change, to try and rest some of those legs after the fourth goal. Nathan Redmond and Michael Obafemi being subbed on, 2 former Saints making their appearances for Burnley there, coming off of the bench. Ethan, we'll come back to you. Anything happened since we had the goal?
Not much. I think the roles have reversed now, and I'm just getting the stat in front of me. That was Luton's second shot of the game and the first on target. So the roles have kind of reversed now. Brentford are the ones taking their times with throw-ins, slowing it down. But interestingly, they brought off Brian Mbermo, who I thought had been one of their brighter sparks this game, and brought on Keane Lewis-Potter, which, I don't know, to take off your talisman at 2-1 up, I think that's brave. But it'll be interesting now to see Luton try and chase a game, because they're not really used to that most of the time. It's sitting back. And yet again, it was another late goal for Luton. They really don't like scoring in the first half. But yeah, 2-1, 10 minutes still to play.
Thank you very much. And speaking of chasing the game, Dan, Wolves still 2-0 down. Are they doing anything? Are they getting anything against Arsenal right now?
Yeah, I'm a bit jealous of the two next to me, because this game was finished after half time, if I'm honest with you. Wolves haven't really provided anything up front. I think they've touched the ball twice in Arsenal's half. In this second half, Eddie Nketiah has come on for Jesus to see if he can grab a goal, but Sarabia, as I said, did come on, and Matt Doherty have also come on for Bueno. But yeah, really flat from Wolves, and two away defeats on the road against Sheffield United and Fulham, and now Arsenal 3 in a row. So yeah, Arsenal dominating things, haven't really conjured up any real good opportunities, but I think they're happy to sit back, because if I'm honest with you, they've won the game.
Well, yeah, I mean, that encounter, Arsenal-Wolves, that you just saw on the virtual screen behind us is sort of done after the 13th minute. Arsenal were 2-0 up. Let's go back to Millwall, though. Let's go on the road. Alex Isaac still in the cold. Any update for us?
Hello, Reece. Yeah, we're in the 83rd minute here, and Millwall have just missed a huge opportunity. And it was Bradshaw who had it. It was a ball slipped through into Bradshaw from Watmore, the former Sunderland player, and it was one-on-one with the goalkeeper Patterson, and he just failed to nick it past his legs as Patterson parried it away. But since that penalty, Millwall have been on top. Millwall are looking to get a second goal and change their ways of 1-1 scorelines in this fixture. 84th minute now, so there's 6 minutes left of normal time. Let's see if any side can get a goal to take the win. Back to you in the studio. It is very cold out here.
I imagine it is, but the atmosphere seems pretty hot at the Den. Speaking of hot, we're getting warm in the studio with goals left, right and centre. Ethan, another one in Brentford-Luton.
Well, I feel bad for complaining about that first half because this second half's been lively as anything. So it's now 3-1 to Brentford. Sorry, Ethan. Carry on.
Keep going,
Sorry,
Ethan.
Joe. It's 3-1 to Brentford. There's a lot to break down about this goal. It's Baptiste who finishes it off, but it all comes from a long throw by Norgard that's not properly cleared. It comes to Keane Lewis-Potter, who I was questioning why they brought him on. He takes on about 3 of them, dribbles past, takes a shot, comes to Baptiste, takes a shot, comes back to Lewis-Potter, controls it, takes a shot, then comes back to Baptiste, who finishes it off and blasts it into the back of the net. 3-1 Brentford, and you'd think this would be done, but Luton have a corner, so it's not done yet.
Well, speaking of a game that's definitely done, Baxter, 5-0 now.
Sorry, Ethan, I tried to hold it in, but what a goal, Josh Brownhill. It's Michael Obafemi and Nathan Redmond, the 2 substitutes, linking up, playing some nice passes in the box. A Sheffield United defender clears it. I believe it is Jayden Bogle who clears it to the edge of the box, and Josh Brownhill hits it first time from outside of the box, right into that bottom corner, and it's a beautiful strike by the captain. It's now 5-0 Burnley, 81 minutes played.
Second goal of the season for Josh Brownhill, and in fact his 13th goal for Burnley in 146 games. So coming big for Burnley. 5-0 now, 5 to the good. Sheffield United in serious trouble. Michael, we haven't heard from you in a little while. How's it looking in the Championship?
It has been all Leeds since the red card. There have been a few chances for Leeds. You can tell they're trying to get that 4th to just seal the game. And it is just Middlesbrough trying to hit them on the counter. They've took off Latte Laff now. They've brought on Coburn, who used to play for Leeds. So it'll be interesting to see if he can make a difference in the latter stages of the game. But 10 minutes to go, still 3-2 to Leeds.
Fantastic, thank you very much. Let's go back out to Tottenham then. Last time we heard it, Chesham were 2-1 up against AFC Tottenham. There's been a goal, but who for? Liam Harding.
It's 2-2! FC Tottenham just pulled a goal back. Liam Maloney's made things level. They might just be jumping up to 4th place in the table. We've still got a few minutes left, and they're looking dangerous as ever. Sheffield United can't keep out the Stags' attack. That's 2-2 here, 2-2. At the Snow Stadium, Liam Harding.
Linesman absolutely loving it in the background there by the looks of it, and fair play. Always bringing the energy, Liam. Only 5 teams have taken points off Chesham this season. Looks like Tottenham are going to be one of them. Let's look back in the studio then, Michael. Anything else to add after you just updated us there? Anything
not
happening?
that I can see at the moment. We are once again having some more technical issues. But not at the moment, it's still 3-2. I've had no update, but if I do get an update, I will let you know.
Absolutely, thank you. And Dan, is game over now, moving into the last few minutes of the fixture?
Yeah, 10 minutes left. Arsenal just keeping the ball nicely. Trying to be fair to you, Wolves have kept a solid back 5 line, but Arsenal just playing the ball around their midfield and their attacking. But game over, as you said, 2-0 up. Wolves haven't really conjured up any chances. Nothing really more to update you, unfortunately. To be honest with you, I'm looking over my shoulder at the 2 games next to me. But yeah, a little bit disappointing that the 2 goals came so early, but Arsenal looking to stretch their lead at the top of the Premier League as their competitors all play tomorrow. So as an Arsenal fan, you're more than happy.
Fantastic. Going from the Premier League then back to non-league. #United, another update from Charlie Clayton here.
Just started saying that the game was over. Canby Island have pulled a goal back. Connor Humble, number 8, scored Canby Island's first goal of the game. Ball gets cut back. Some amazing dribbling work from the left-hand side, just to cut it back to the edge of the box. And Connor Hubble, slots it home into the back of the net. Game on here at the Len Salmon Stadium.
Thank you very much, Charlie. Only 3 Premier League fixtures today, of course, but there are many, many more tomorrow. And as Dan was saying, Manchester City will get the chance to take their top spot back from Arsenal, who have moved into first. Let's look at the bottom end of the table while we've got a little bit of time. Sheffield United now 5 down, a red card today. I feel like they might be going down. What's your thoughts on that overall? Do you think they'll be relegated this season, Baxter?
Well, after today's performance, I don't see how they don't get relegated. There's just been a penalty shout for Burnley as well to make it 6. I don't personally think it will be given. It was very. It did hit the arm of the Sheffield defender player, but he had his arm sort of tucked behind his back. So it'll be very unlucky if this gets given. It does hit him right on the arm though, so it really wouldn't surprise me with VAR. But luckily, it's not Wolves, so it probably won't get given against them. But yeah, this is all Burnley. They're just coasting through it now. They're having fun. They're playing their 1-2s. They're taking shots from long range. They're passing it around the back. They're really not being pressured by the Sheffield United attackers. All that I will say is that Will Cope is probably crying in a corner somewhere, because if I was a Sheffield United fan, I would be too. 5-0 Burnley, 85th minute.
Thank you very much, Baxter. And into the business end now of all of the fixtures, into stoppage time at Millwall. Another update from Alex Isaacs at the Den. What's happened, Alex?
Yeah, hello, Reece. We are just going into stoppage time now. 4 minutes have been added on. And I have a little update for you as Millwall were disallowed a goal through Bradshaw. Watmore has been brilliant since coming on. And he created an unorthodox chance for Bradshaw, really, as he finessed a shot into Patterson's right post, and it deflected off the post into the path of Bradshaw, who had no option but to slot it away, but unfortunately he was in an offside position. And since then, the Millwall fans have been so up for it, and now they have a free kick, and it's the number 23, George Saville, who's going to whip it into the box to see if he can create even more problems for Millwall. But Millwall fans are hoping that their team can secure a home win for the Lions. But yeah, it's all to play for in this now last 3 minutes of additional time. So yeah, let's see what happens. Back to you in the studio, Reece.
Thank you very much, Alex. Let's move down to the newsroom then as we get another update on Southampton versus Cardiff. As far as we know, Saints still 2 goals to the good. Callum Kemp, what's happened?
Yeah, it's still 2-0 Southampton here, but how that is the case, I am not sure, because Saints have had an abundance of opportunities, including Ryan Fraser's attempt on goal, which is one of the worst misses I have seen. Great run of play from Southampton. Adam Armstrong was looking to add an assist to his 2 goals. Crosses it to Fraser, who, instead of hitting it to his right to the goal, smashes it up to the row Z to his left. And it couldn't be any further off target if he tried. But Saints keep having chances, very, very few on target. The Cardiff goalkeeper hasn't had much to do, which is surprising based on the amount of shots Saints have had. But yeah, still 2-0 here, but I'd be surprised if there isn't one more goal in this game.
Adam Armstrong, scoring both of the goals today with a brace. There has been another goal, but has there been, Ethan? What's happened there?
Well, I've got to say, since Brentford got their 3rd, I thought Luton might just settle down into it and accept defeat, but they haven't. They've come out fighting. They've been piling the pressure on intensely, and Tahith Chong thought he was the man that made it 3-2, but he didn't quite manage it. He was just offside as the ball was whipped in. He thought he'd done it, powered a header into the centre of the goal, but it's been chalked off, although we've got 8 minutes added on here thanks to a couple of injuries. So you never know, Luton might be able to take one back, or maybe 2 if they're lucky.
I mean, is that fair? 8 minutes? Has there really been that many injuries?
I'd say that's about fair. Considering we've had 4 goals as well, there's been a lot of substitutions, a lot of celebrations, and yeah, a couple of injuries. So I'd say 8 minutes is about right.
Fair enough, and must be moving into stoppage time as well in your game, Baxter.
Yeah, 88th minute here. Burnley have a corner, and yet again, it's been all Burnley. Sheffield United did have an attack, but again, nothing really came of it. It was probably their 1st or 2nd shot on target. Burnley have just hit the crossbar. I don't know how. That was a looping header from the corner. Burnley still have it in Sheffield United's box. Michael Obafemi has gone down asking for a penalty, but it's not been given, and they still have the ball on the edge of the box here. But like I said, it's all Burnley. They've whipped the ball back in, and it goes out for a Sheffield United goal kick, I believe. Yeah, it's all Burnley. Oh, actually, no, sorry. It's another Burnley corner. Let's just see what this header was. Oh, it's number 5, Ekdal, who's come off the bench. He's headed it downwards into a Sheffield United player, and it's just looped over Wes Fotheringham, and it's just hit the crossbar. He's got lucky there. But yeah, this is Burnley domination. I don't see how Sheffield United have. they've played poorly, to put it lightly. They've played really poor. They've not had any attacks. They've not really threatened Burnley at any point, and I'm sure that red card certainly did not help Sheffield United today.
Absolutely not, and dominance in terms of the scoreline as well for Burnley, of course, 5-0. Hasn't been a goal in the Arsenal-Wolves game since the 13th minute. Dan, has that changed now?
Yeah, game on here at the Emirates. I was just saying, it was quite a drab second half, no team really going forward, but Wolves have pulled one back, and it's Matheus Cunha who has got the goal. Zinchenko on the edge of the box after a Wolves attack, sort of played the ball around a little bit, got dispossessed, and Cunha took no chance whatsoever. He smashed the ball into the top left-hand corner, and moments ago Eddie Nketiah just hit the post after he was put through. Could have put Arsenal 3-1 ahead, but it's 2-1 to Arsenal. Wolves with the goal back. We saw Wolves grab a late winner against Tottenham a few weeks ago. Could they grab a late equaliser here against Arsenal?
Have they shown enough to get a late equaliser though?
Well, that was their only real proper chance of the game, but I mean, as I just reported there, they only need one chance and they're extremely lethal in front of goal. So they could get this chance again and surprise Arsenal here.
Absolutely. Now I'll run through a few of the Championship results at the moment for games that we are not covering as well. 90th minute for Birmingham and Rotherham. That's currently 0-0. Watford are 2-1 up against Hull in the 90th minute. Ipswich leading 2-0 against Coventry. And we've actually got another update sticking with the Championship at Millwall. Alex Isaacs is at the Den for us.
Yeah, it's full time here. James Lingington has just blown the whistle, and there's boos from the Millwall fans. I don't really know who to, but the final score here ended 1-1. Neither team managed to get that second goal they were looking for. Yet again, it's ended 1-1. The fourth time in the history of this fixture has ended 1-1. That is astonishing, really. I talked about there being a reignition in the tie. And there was. I mean, the atmosphere was absolutely buzzing here today. Each team were fired up. But yeah, to put it bluntly, both sides were more focused on the intensity rather than, creating chances, putting the ball away. And I spoke about that offside goal and the chance missed by Bradshaw. Millwall could have easily snatched the game late onto it, but yeah, points are shared here today at the Den, and what a game it was. But yeah, back to you in the studio. I'm going to go get in the warm, but yeah, back to you in the studio.
Thank you very much to Alex Isaacs there. Let's go through a couple more results in the Championship, that we haven't been covering. Plymouth have drawn 1-1 to Stoke. Sheffield Wednesday in the 90th minute, now 3-1 up against Blackburn. And there'll be an update from Swansea shortly from Barnaby Page as well to see what's happening there. Dan, are we almost done with your game though?
Yeah, 6 minutes left. Arsenal appealing for a penalty, and it was waived. Sorry, Wolves appealing for a penalty, waved away by the referee after it appeared to struck Gabriel's hand. But yeah, Wolves 6 minutes left to try and get an equaliser as Arsenal just go on the counter attack. Here, it looks like Ethan's got something to say.
How's it going, Ethan? Anything big happening there?
No worries. Take the stage.
Lewis Potter there, he's fired a ball in. There's chaos in the Luton penalty area. King Lewis Potter firing a ball in, coming back to Ruslev at the back post, who he should be scoring that. The ball's just sat up for him quite nicely at the back post and not under any real pressure. He's just blazed it wide. But yeah, this game's been all action the last 10 minutes. Yeah, that should be 4-1 Brentford. But then again, you could say it should have been 3-2 Luton. So it's all over the place here at the G-Tech Stadium.
Well, 4 goals in that game, but to be completely honest with you, this is the biggest moment of the afternoon now. It's what I've been waiting for at the very least. We are finishing off the Stoke stack at Basingstoke. Callum Pearman, how's it looking?
And Sholing have done it. 10-men Sholing have beaten Basingstoke 2-1 despite Brad Targett's sending off and the Basingstoke players throwing everything at the kitchen sink and even the Stoke stack at that goal. It has not gone in. The players put their lives on the line and the bodies on the line in this cold conditions, deflecting, blocking everything. And Sholing have kept this game and win after Dan Mason's 2 goals, an absolute screamer in his second, and we are finished here at Basingstoke. But now we have got to obviously finish off the reason why we're here, the last 2 bites of what has been the best burger of my life. It's been wonderful and it has been lovely. It's the warmest thing I've had here today at Basingstoke. And after a long, cold day, our last bite of the Basingstoke Stoke stack. If you're ever near Basingstoke and there's a game on, come here, get a Bassett's Basingstoke Stoke stack, and maybe you'll get to see a game as good as we have. Thank you very much.
Alan, I need a burger tonight. It won't be as good as the Stoke stack, but as soon as we're wrapped up here, I know where I'm going. I'm definitely getting a burger. Baxter, your game's wrapped up. Speaking of full time.
Yeah, it's all done here at Turf Moor. Burnley win 5-0. It's been absolutely appalling from Sheffield United, but I won't drag on too much about that. I'd rather talk about how good Burnley have been today. It's a real positive change considering they were sat in 20th before this game. They have now moved up to 18th, overtaking Sheffield United, and they looked like a different team compared to the rest of the season. They were absolutely brilliant. I don't think I could pick a man of the match tonight because everyone played everyone played so well. If you were to pin me down and tell me how to pick one, I'd pick Charlie Taylor, the left back, the veteran. He's been so good down that left-hand side, picking up 2 assists, a clean sheet. James Trafford in goals had a good game, but to be fair, he's only really had to face 2 shots and they were both right at him. But the entire Burnley team has played unbelievably well. Sander Berge, obviously facing his former club today, I think he knows that he's picked the right choice there after a 5-0 stomping. But I really think it does come down to that late in the first half sending off of Ollie McBurney, because since then they conceded 3 and they've not had any sort of attack since, and they look depleted. If Ollie McBurney had stayed on, could have been a different game. I guess we'll never know. But it is 5-0 Burnley full time. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Baxter. Now, Southampton and Cardiff play for the first time today since 2019. It was 2-1 Cardiff then. What was the score now? We've got Callum Kemp in our newsroom providing live updates.
Ended at St Mary's, 2-0 to Southampton. Adam Armstrong with both goals and a definite man of the match performance. He probably should have had an assist as well, but Fraser failed to convert that challenge with a shot that went very far wide. The second half, surprising that Southampton didn't score. Southampton failing to score in the second half, but it was just a very difficult performance for them, where every shot they had would just go either wide or over the top of the bar. So it's ended here, Saints 2, Cardiff 0.
Full time for you as well, Mike Ryder, in your game. How's it ended?
It is. Sorry that you couldn't come to me for the last 15 minutes or so. We've had some horrible technical difficulties, but I have been keeping a track of the game, and it did finish Leeds 3, Middlesbrough 2. After the red card, to be honest, it was just Leeds going, we've got the 3 points in the bag if we just play it safe, and that's what they did. They had a few chances, and obviously they did want to try and push to get the 4th, but they weren't going to overdo it. So, after the red card, Middlesbrough just didn't have a chance. I think they were up against it anyway, but 10 men against a Leeds squad that good, you just don't really stand a chance. So, full time, Leeds 3, Middlesbrough 2.
Thank you very much, Michael. And it's full-time across the grounds today. We're going to cross the border. We're going to go to Swansea, where Barnaby Page has got a full-time update for us.
Yes, full time here. It's ended Swansea 1, Huddersfield 1. A 92nd minute equaliser from Arsenal loanee Charlie Patino was enough to at least give Swansea a point from this fixture. Started off in the 3rd minute with an own goal from Benka Bango as a result of a misplaced pass, if you could say, from captain Matt Grimes. From there, Swansea have had control of the game throughout the full 90, really. Most of the possession, most of the football, couldn't really do much with it until the 92nd minute, when Charlie Patino, Arsenal loanee, came on, grabbed a quick opportunity, and with a lovely curling effort into the bottom corner, scored his 2nd of the season. Right at the very dying embers of the game, Swansea had the chance to win it through Harry Darling, but his shot from a corner went sailing over the bar. But the most important player of the game today, I think, was Yannick Bolasie, 34-year-old Yannick Bolasie, making his home debut. Every time he got onto the ball today, he looked exciting. He looked fun to watch as well. And it's as a result, I think he will become a bit of a fan favourite down here for however long he stays here. But full time here at Swansea, it's finished. Swansea 1, Huddersfield Town 1.
Perfect from Patino then, and that's 5 games now Swansea have gone without getting a win. Only 5 wins in 19 games for new manager Michael Duff, who replaced Southampton's current manager Russell Martin in the summer. Not great for them, and it's full-time as well, Ethan, in your game.
Yeah, it ended 3-1 to Brentford. I mean, it was quite a second half, completely contrasting to the first half. 4 goals we got to see there. Yeah, I don't quite know what to make of that last 20 minutes. It was end-to-end, corners galore. Balls were just swung into the box. It was chaos, just people kicking each other and yellow cards coming out the referee's ears. But yeah, it was quite a game in the end. I think Luton feel a little hard done by that they lost by 2 goals. I actually think a draw might have been a fair result there because they really put a good showing in late on in that second half. So yeah, don't think Brentford can complain too much about anything. Yeah, decent game, 3-1 to Brentford.
Fantastic, thank you. And Daniel must be really in the business end of stoppage time now, 90th minute.
Yeah, it's just the referee's just blown his whistle. It's finished Arsenal 2, Wolves 1 after, well, Arsenal in the end of it hung on there to all 3 points. Wolves got one back in the 86th minute thanks to Cunha. They've chucked everyone forward for the last 6 minutes, but it wasn't quite just enough. Arsenal took the lead thanks to Saka scoring his 100th league goal in 2023 after a nice cutback from Jesus into his feet. And it was Odegaard who scored from 12 yards out to get Arsenal 2-0 up within the opening 15 minutes. Quite a comfortable, dominating performance in terms of possession-wise and chances created for Arsenal, who extend their lead to the top of the table to 4 points with their rivals all playing tomorrow. So 3 points for Arsenal. Mikel Arteta happy, Gary O'Neill perhaps quite disappointed with his side's performance today.
Fantastic, thank you. And final whistle blown there, being blown all around the country too. We can go to Charlie Clayton, who's just seen the final whistle being blown at #United.
Yes, that's right here, full time at the Lensam Stadium. #United 3, Canby Island 1. And we are joined today by the chairman of the football club and the founder, Spencer.
And I'm very cold as well. How are we, guys?
Yeah, Spencer, how did you see the game today? It was a great performance, wasn't it?
It was really good, yeah. We've actually never beaten Canby before today. Played them 3 times previously. And that was a solid win, wasn't it? I mean, it's 3-1, but I think we were quite unlucky to concede and probably could have had more as well.
Yeah, definitely. I thought Toby was fantastic on that right wing. He was shining, especially in the first half.
Yeah, he got player of the match as well, award at the end of the game as well. So, yeah, really good. He's just sort of come back from, missed a lot of football this year, and he's on his way back to fitness and stuff. So, promising, very promising.
Yeah, promotion surely on the cards if performances carry on like this.
Well, I wouldn't get too far ahead of ourselves, but we're not too far off the playoffs now. So, that's a good target for us, I think, to try and cement a place in there. And obviously, anything can happen then, but not even halfway through the season yet.
Perfect, that's all.
Good.
Awesome.
Thanks, mate.
Back to you in the studio.
Fantastic to hear from YouTuber and #United chairman Spencer Owen there. I think we're going to go from hashtag and speaking to a celebrity to speaking to our 2 reporters in Austria. Let's go across Europe. We've got Ollie Howard and Lily Arthur. What are you guys up to out there?
Yeah, so no game for us today, but we've made it to the Christmas market. I really hope you can hear us over the loud chiming of bells behind us. We were going to show you around the market, but it's so slippery here, so we don't really want to make a fool of ourselves slipping over on the ice. But Southampton's got a nice Christmas market, but this one's steps above.
Yeah, I think everything Lily said, exactly that. It is absolutely rocking, to be honest. I think you can see above me, that's where the cathedral is. It is so loud. It's been going for about 5 minutes now. I don't know how it's still going. But yeah, it's a really, really nice Christmas market. We're currently in the Altstadt, which is the translation for Old Town. I think we might make our way into the new town to see what that's looking like as well. But no, at the moment, really, really lovely city, and definitely glad we came despite all of the extenuating circumstances.
Thank you very much, guys. A shame that you couldn't get to the game, but that market's looking a little bit better than £7 pints outside Westquay, so I think I know who the real winners are. Speaking of winners, who won? Was it Chesham? Was it Tottenham? We're going to find out now. Liam Harding, are you with us? Are you ready for us?
Yeah, I'm just walking back to the car in the car park. We've just been kicked out, but that's okay because the game's done and dusted. Chesham United were all over AFC Tottenham in the first half, and that showed because Ricardo German got his 19th goal this season and he's top goal scorer of the Southern Premier. But in the second half, AFC Tottenham fought back, and it was Scott Rendell with his penalty and Liam Maloney who was the saviour. I think at half-time, Jimmy Ball definitely gave them a kick up the backside because Tottenham just were not firing in the first half. However, after drawing 2-2 and getting 1 pointage, it won't serve either of them in terms of chasing the promotion spots because they needed the win. That's all from the Snow Stadium and a very cold one.
Thank you very much there, Liam. Well, yeah, that's all from us as well here in the studio. All 4 of our games wrapped up across the country. But fear not, there are plenty more Premier League fixtures this evening weekend, starting at 5:30 tonight when Nottingham Forest play host to bottom-of-the-table side Everton, who will be desperate for victory following their 10-point deduction. And later on tonight at 8 p.m, there's a colossal clash in the North East as Newcastle United host Manchester United. Tomorrow's a day packed with 5 thrilling fixtures as well, highlighted by Manchester City versus Tottenham Hotspur at 4:30 to cap off an intriguing Super Sunday. That's all from us from our first ever Solent Soccer Saturday. We hope you've enjoyed the show as much as we have. Have a good evening. I'm off to get that burger.